What's good, Lucky Lefty Podcast? We are brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so responsibly. Also, CFB Nation presented by Twisted Tea. Don't forget that, Twisted Tea. We have a very special guest that we told you would be on with us this morning. Before we get to that, we're going to talk about a couple of things. How Showtime and HBO dipping out of the boxing business might actually impact the Notre Dame TV deal. We'll be talking about that coming up in about 30 to 45 minutes. But we are pleased to welcome. Look, man, you want to talk about one of the greatest defensive backs, return specialists, Notre Damers in the history of Notre Dame football. He's our guest today, and he's none other than Shaun Walton. Big bro, welcome to the program. Welcome to the podcast. First of all, how are you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. It's a beautiful day in San Diego. Happy to be on here. I've heard your podcast several times and excited to be on with you guys, brother.
So I know fans want to hear from you about the current squad,
Yep.
your thoughts, everything. How in the world Malik is an offensive coordinator out in Cali at Lakewood. DC is training. CJ Procyse is training people. What is up with Notre Dame football players and getting into coaching and training? It's like, how's it going for you?
It's a blessing, man. I'm back at my high school that I went to. So for me, it's pretty nostalgic, right? Wearing the same helmets, coaching on the same field, playing some of the same teams. Actually, now I'm coaching against some of the guys who I played against when they were coaching. So it's nostalgic. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a way for a lot of guys to stay in the game, right? A game that we love for so long, and then it ends abruptly. And it's kind of getting into coaching and training. It's kind of a way to give back and try to stay in the game. So I think that's why a lot of the guys do it.
What's the one thing? Because I'm sure once you left the NFL, you matriculate from Notre Dame to the NFL. That's a transition.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go from the NFL to post-career. How quickly did you get into coaching, and was there anything else from a business standpoint that had your heart or your passion?
No, it took me a while to get into coach. I hated football once my career ended.
Yeah.
I wanted to be as far removed from it as possible for a number of reasons. One, it was always, this is my buddy Shaun, the football player. So I wanted to kind of separate myself from that and try to form my own path and my own identity. And then just the way it kind of ended, like I didn't get to end on my own accord, right? I was kind of told, you're hurt, you can't play anymore. So it was a difficult thing for me, and it took me a couple of years to try to come to peace with leaving the game the way I left it. But it's a beautiful thing now, right? When you go through those things, it's I think football trained me well. I remember telling the story when I first got into the work. I do work in education. I'm like in the dean's office, and I met with the head dean, and he gave me a list of tasks to do for the week. And like after like 2 hours, I came to him like, all right, I'm done. And so like football, it trains your mind and trains your whole mentality that every single minute is accounted for. And like there's not really much downtime in football. And so that transition is difficult for a lot of people for a number of different reasons. One, you're not told what to do every single minute, and you kind of have to figure it out on your own. So it's a little bit of being like institutionalized, but like once you figure it out, there's a freedom in it.
Since you said you do work in the dean's office, wasn't even thinking about bringing this up. One of the conversations we had early this week on the podcast was about fandom and adults. This is just me. I work with at-risk kids in the city of Chicago myself, and have
Mm-hmm.
done it for 20 years. And so whether it's social media or just in chats and message boards, I always find it amazing that adults can take what 17, 18, 19-year-olds do and judge a kid and label a kid, right? I'll give you a perfect example. Because Notre Dame fans, they went hard at Caleb Williams over what he put on his nails about Notre Dame last year. And, you know, he's soft, he's this. And I'm like, you don't know this kid. Like, how are you like, I hate him. You hate him because you hate him? And it's like, you know, to get people to actually get outside of fandom. And I say, yo, the goofiest thing in the world is we bring left into the. What's up, boy?
Man, waiting in these car rental lines all night in the middle of nowhere, Huntsville, Texas. Good grief.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, my man? Thanks
I'm
for
blessed,
joining
brother.
us. Well,
Thank
shoot.
you. You got it, brother.
No
So
doubt.
yeah, Shane, just since you do that type of work, how do you feel about that? Where social media seems to put a lot more pressure on these young men as they go through college. And Left,
Yeah.
I told Left, I said the most pristine dude that we could think of is probably Andrew Luck. Right? And I said, I guarantee you, Andrew Luck's boys are keeping his secrets from Stanford because he had some. I get it was a drunken night or something happened. Something happened that if social media was popping back when he was at Stanford, you know, his image might not be as pristine.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. So I coached Tyler Buckner in high school, and he and I are, you know, we still keep in touch, we still talk, and then I hear people talk about this dude. I'm like, man, this dude is a great kid. He's a phenomenal young man who makes the right decisions, never gets in trouble, always doing the right thing, loves his friends, loves his teammates, loves his coaches, like very well respected. And I look at some of these message boards, and people are killing this dude. I'm like, man, he's 20 years old, and you're killing this kid for betting on himself, and he felt things were unfair, and he went and changed. So I think about some of these fans. I'm like, man, something was wrong in your business. You felt something was unfair, and you got double the money to go somewhere else and do it. Would you do it? It's like, yes, you would. But yet we're killing these kids. Like, we're not killing Sam Hartman for coming over, right? He left somewhere else too, but we're not killing that dude.
He's catching some flack. Now, he ain't not catching no flack at the Lucky Lefty podcast. He's catching some. But did you get a chance to talk to Tyler about the transfer situation, knowing that it was unfair at Notre Dame with some of the circumstances, but going back to Alabama with the same people that put him in those circumstances?
Yeah, we spoke about it. I mean, he is a really intelligent dude. I think right now his confidence is kind of rocked. He looks like a shell of himself. I mean, I remember him in ninth grade making some of the passes that he can't make now. But yeah, we did speak at length about it. You know, he and Tommy Reese they're really close. He trusts Tommy. They have a friendship. Yep, they have a friendship.
Do you trust Tommy? There we go. You're his coach. Do you trust Tommy?
Look, I don't know him well enough to trust him or not. I trust Tyler, and Tyler has, you know, a friendship and a relationship with him. And again, I don't know the man to trust him or not, though.
I heard when everything was taking place that it was a really difficult decision for Tyler.
For sure. Tyler's a smart dude. Yeah, look, he told me, he goes, Shane, I know if I go to Alabama, it's about trying to make it to the NFL. It's not. He did his homework. He talked to some of the former quarterbacks, and they're like, look, this is not a team. This is about individuals and trying to make it to the NFL, and practice is tough. He goes, if I stay at Notre Dame, you know, I get to be with my brothers. It's a team. It's a family. He goes, I know the choice I'm making.
So does that shock you where college football, because that's interesting, you have the contrast of pretty much family, brotherhood, academics, Notre Dame. In contrast to Alabama, business. When you come here, it's about the business. Notre Dame lost the #1 defensive lineman who eventually decommitted from Notre Dame last year and went to Alabama because his mother reiterated the same thing. Like, my son wants to go to the NFL. Like, he loves Notre Dame. He loves the class he's committed to. But
Yeah.
ultimately, his dream is to play in the NFL, and Alabama is the place to get him there. Is that a difficult task for Notre Dame? Because I love the tradition of Notre Dame. I love Notre Dame being who they are. And I know it's certain things that they might be able to get into as far as NIL in the future and things of that nature and expand that. But is there a space moving forward for Notre Dame to be able to compete against programs like Georgia and Alabama that are strictly business NFL?
It's tough for sure. I think I look at like who Notre Dame and who Stanford and who Vanderbilt can recruit. And you think let's say there's 10,000 recruits out there. I think, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, Stanford, they get to recruit 600-700 kids of that 10,000. And now you throw in this money thing, you throw in everything else, and that number probably shrinks in half, if not more.
Mhm.
And so I think there's a kid that it has to be a certain type of kid that wants to go to Notre Dame. Notre Dame is tough. It's not easy. It's a tough place to be at. We used to say Notre Dame is a great place to be from, not necessarily a great place to be. It's difficult to be there. The school is difficult. The surroundings in South Bend are difficult. The standards that you're held to each and every week, you mess up. It's especially a quarterback. Like everyone, ESPN knows it. Everyone knows about it. It's challenging, and you get everyone's best shot. People say all the time, like we get everyone's best shot. It's a tough place to be at, and I think sometimes recruits look at those things and say, why wouldn't I just go to Miami, or why wouldn't I go to Alabama, and I get double the money. I get just to, I don't really have to go to school. I get to, just play football. And so the odds they're stacked against Notre Dame, but I think there's still that Notre Dame type of kid that wants that system, that wants those traditions, that wants those kind of boundaries.
You know what? Left, you could probably ask this question because you're the only person that I've heard say this that covers Notre Dame. And I want to get both of your inputs. Malik was very adamant that he felt like the direction of the team and the offense should have been turned over to Tyler as soon as he got to campus.
Yes. Yes.
He's like, yo, that's your guy. Let him learn. Let him play. Then they bring in Jack Cohn. So this is like the second transfer quarterback that Tyler has had to deal with in this time. So I understand the frustration. As his high school coach, did you feel the same way, like going through his recruitment, things that might have been promised to him or told to him coming into the situation? He comes in as an early enrollee. How do you think that impacted the way he was treated and handled his freshman year?
I mean, I'm like you. I think he's really talented. I think the offense should have been tailored around him. And then you take your growing pains that freshman year, and then like knowing that
better
after
next
that,
year. That's how it works.
But I think like all the former players understand it, right? Like that first year it's a transition year. It's going to be difficult. And to me, it's like, what did they really do that year? What did they do? They didn't do anything.
Empty calories. We had empty calorie season a couple years ago. That's what we do.
They did nothing. So why not allow him to have that year, get all the mistakes out, like let him learn the system, and then he comes back ready to go. But I think his sophomore year, it's a different year if he has that freshman year of growing pains. And then I think this year you see a different Tyler. But our world is not like, we don't have patience anymore, right? Like you think about, I know when I used to go to the library, I had to like the Dewey Decimal System, right? I got to look up the number. I got to write it down. I got to go to the correct like storage unit it's in, the hopefully it's the right bookshelf, hopefully it's there. Now you want something, you just click a button and you have the whole book. And
Yeah.
so like the economy of our brain, there's no more patience, there's no more wait, there's no more like, hey, let's play this out and let's just wait a little bit. It just doesn't, like, our world doesn't really work like that anymore.
We definitely used to have a library time when we'd go to the library and learn how to use the encyclopedia and look up how to get nonfiction from fiction books and, you know, the whole checkout process, you know. Now you just Google anything, you hit
You
Siri
just
and
skip it. That
tell
whole
you right
like,
away.
yeah. You don't have to wait for anything. You don't
How
even have
would
to
you
be.
coach?
Yeah.
How would you coach Tyler though, going into after you saw his freshman year, some things that he probably could have worked on? What were the things that Tommy should have called for him to help him seem more like the starter that I felt like he should have been when he first got there? You know.
Yeah, I think it's, as you know, there's so many things that go into it. One, like I'm looking at, I'm on a text chain with about 25 of my former buddies and players from Notre Dame. And there's one game he threw a hitch and the corner intercepted it. And everyone's like, that's a terrible throw. And like everyone's like, no, as a receiver, I know it's my job to get that corner out of his back pedal. So he has to open up. Our receivers aren't getting guys out of their back pedals. And so like, but the outside world looks at it like that's Tyler's
He's
fault.
throwing a pick six. Yeah, he's just throwing silly pick sixes. Yeah.
So I think having the whole, like, our offensive line, if we're honest, our offensive line was not great his first two starts. Our receivers, we're still struggling at receiver, right? And they're all a year older. We had one guy to throw to. That was 87. What's his name? And for the Michael Mayer. Yeah. Like, so it's like, what are we doing around him to make him successful? I think that's where it starts, right? Like, if I have a great offensive line, great running game, great receiver, I could just be okay. So I think that was a piece of it as well. I think they had him. He was learning two different offenses. Here, this is your offense that you're going to run, but also you got to learn this offense too.
Yeah, that we're not calling the plays for you, but you got to know it. You know, it's crazy. Yeah.
And like, I watched, like, a lot of times, especially his freshman year, when he went in, it was all run. Like, let him throw. Like, you brought him in here to play quarterback, not running back. Let him throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows when he's coming in, it's run. Like, let him throw it. Let him build the confidence. So to me, right there, you're telling him that you don't trust him to throw the ball. And so now you want to go into the next year, and I'm supposed to just have confidence that I can throw the ball. Like, when you never believed in me the whole year.
That's right. Yeah.
I think the game you're referencing is the Virginia Tech game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that's Virginia Tech, and he played very well early. And then Virginia Tech made some adjustments in the second half, and he threw a couple of picks, and they brought Jack Cohn back in the game.
But I agree with Tyler, and he told me on that one interception, he told me that he was told to throw this route no matter what. So he throws that route, it gets picked, and you're mad at that kid. That's what people don't understand. Like, when you're told to do something, you just do it. And now it was like, oh, Tyler can't throw. He like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, we feel the same way because a lot of fans are upset with the output of Tobias Merriweather, the wide receiver, as a sophomore. And we're like, if you don't develop and infuse him with confidence as a freshman, how do you expect him to just come out as a sophomore and just take off? That's not the way things happen. You're giving him one play per game, one target per game as a freshman, but he's the only wide receiver, well, other than Braden Lindsey, that can take the top off of the defense. It's like, what else can you expect from the kid?
I agree, man. You got to build these kids up with skill, but also these kids now, like, it's so much about, like, their confidence. And these kids nowadays are so fearful to make a mistake or be wrong because it's out there, it's talked about, it's on social media, and like the whole world knows about it. I used to do so many dumb things as a kid, and only the people around me knew it. And so I'm like, all right, I'm good. These are my homeboys. They're not telling anyone. Exactly. But now it's on video, it's on YouTube. It's crazy. It's a different world, man. It's tough for these young men. I feel them, but also, like, They got to be able to overcome some of this fear.
Yeah, exactly. Would you suggest Tyler possibly transferring again?
You know, I don't know if he plays at Alabama again, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love Tyler. I care about Tyler. I think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's going to play at Alabama, even if he's the better quarterback. I just think there's the narrative on him is that he can't do it. And so maybe that's something that he probably has to do. I look at, what's the guy's name that transferred to Oregon State?
Oh, DJ
Man,
Uwanga.
they were killing him at Clemson.
Yeah.
Man, look at this dude
And
now.
now he ain't the problem now. Look, they can't blame you now. They can't talk about him now.
It's tough, man. Playing quarterback is tough. I mean, it's your fault or you're the hero. Like there's not really ever any in between. And I'm so happy when guys like that get blamed and they go and get to like flourish like he is now. That's awesome. I hope that Tyler is able to do something like that as well.
Once again, the great Shaun Walton joins us right here in the Lucky Lefty podcast.
Right.
CFB Nation, make sure you check out the audio edibles we give you each and every day. YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, that thumbs up, the like button, smash it for us. We greatly appreciate it. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. Let's spin over to something. As former Notre Dame players, you guys take a lot of pride in setting the tone and watching the players come after you. For the past 4 years, I would say, maybe a little bit longer, we've been referring to Notre Dame as fair catch you, especially in the punting game. And look, the long history, I don't care how or what the season went like. Notre Dame had a kick return specialist.
Yes.
Okay, with Tim Brown, Ricky
Rocket
Waters,
Ishmael.
Rocket Ishmael,
CJ Smuggins for a little bit.
Alan Rossum, Vontez Dub, Shane Walton, Joey Gathering,
kick return, punt return.
the Atkinson kid. I can go on and on. Notre Dame was going to have somebody.
Punt return, kick return.
Absolutely. Notre Dame was going to have somebody that can run back the punts and the kickoffs. That was a given. Tom Zibikowski. It didn't make a difference.
Julius Jones,
man.
Man, right?
What
man.
Dude. So, I think Chris Tyree had the kickoff return against Wisconsin a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Jadarian Price takes it back 98 yards against USC. What is the key? Like, is there a secret? Because it seems like the secret recipe was in the program for a long time.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, we just got nothing. Oh, that's right. Golden Tate.
Yeah, you could go on.
Big time.
I don't understand it. Yeah, I feel like we just keep throwing a walk-on back there.
Yeah, yes. Like we do it like a Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah. Like, oh, his whole dream was to play Notre Dame. So let's throw him at punt return. What? Like, no, this is not a waste of a rep.
Oh, it's such an explosive play. Like you put one of your best athletes back there that has hands and let him cook.
Yeah,
that's it. Hey, try to get in someone's way. Get a little block. Put some emphasis in the return. Like, but just put a special like we always have special athletes. Why can't we return a punt or a kick?
Yeah.
It's drives me. We were just talking about that on I told you on that text stream. One of the guys said, "Man, when are we going to invest in a punt returner?"
Just invest. Like, do we have to give a punt returner an NIL deal or something just to entice somebody in the country to come?
Oh man, it's been so bad. It's been so bad. I don't understand. Like, just put an athlete back there and let him go. I mean, that's what the kid from USC does. That dude's not following blocks. He's doing what he sees. No.
He's just like, kick it to me, I'm gonna run around. Like,
how did you end up? But first of all, your first love was soccer.
Yes, sir.
So how did you end up getting the return job?
Man, I always wanted to return. I did it in high school. It was one of my favorite things to do. And Coach Davey was like, "No, we need you to block." I said, all right. But I mean, to his defense, right? We had Joey Gathering back there. We had Julius Jones. So I get it. Those guys were special. And Coach Willingham came in. I was a senior. I was like, hey, Coach, I want to return some kicks. And he goes, all right, well, you got to prove it to me. I was like, okay. And so I had a bunch of interceptions, took him to the house.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, you proved it. You can go back there. So he let me go back there. I know V-Duff, Vontez, and I would always fight to go back there, but V-Duff was good about it. He let me get some. So,
what was your favorite part about punt return? Was it just the freedom that it was no real rules? You had a couple. Okay, you got to start inside, set up the blocks, and work outside. But other than that, what made it so fun for you out there?
I love. For me, it's easier, right? Like you got guys flying at you, and really on punt return, you make one or two guys miss, and you're gone.
Yeah.
Whereas kickoff, there's layers of them, right? But I just felt like I didn't feel like people could tackle me, and I know V Duff had the same thought. I know Joey Gethero had the same thought, and so maybe that's what it is. It's just a mentality, because some people I'm like, when I get this ball, I don't feel like anyone could tackle me. And that was the thought all of our punt returner and kick returners has. Like, man, I'm taking this to the house. I don't care who they have out there.
That's right.
And so I don't know. Maybe our guys don't have that confidence now, but I know anyone back there, we were competing. Like, because, if you didn't take it to the house, there was 2 or 3 other guys behind you that could.
Yeah. I wonder if you guys sat down and had a debate. The best unit that were return specialists, was it the DBs, the wide receivers, or the running backs in Notre Dame? That would be a great conversation, because you, Allen Rossum, and Duff.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It is. I mean, there's some special guys. Or you think about the Rocket, you think about Tim Brown. Joey Gethero was special, man. That dude was special. Julius Jones. So, I mean, I think there's more opportunities for the offensive guys, but the defensive guys, when we get our hand on the ball, we don't get it much.
Right.
So we're trying to take it to the house every time.
Yeah.
Yo, you talk about Joey Gethero and Julius Jones. That Nebraska game when they came to South Bend had to be crazy. Coming off a national championship, #1 in the nation. They walk in, and you guys stay in the game strictly off defense and special teams, and had a chance to win it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that game. I'm still heartbroken about that game. A few missed assignments, and it's a different game. But I remember talking to the other corner at the time, Brock Williams, and we're like, hey, we looked at each other before the game. We saw those dudes warming up. Those dudes were big. And we're like, hey, man, I might die today, but
we're going head first, for sure.
But that was our mentality, man. We was like, man, we're trying to kill people out there. It wasn't, I'm not trying to get you down. I'm trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
When you look at this Notre Dame team, though, and you see us go through those ebbs and flows where you're like, why are we not turning it on? And then you look at the USC game and you're like, man, we could have been doing this all season. What is your evaluation of what's been the miscues or the ups and downs? Because I feel like Marcus Freeman is a pretty consistent guy from being who he is as a head coach. I feel like he's not coming out there one day or 1 week super sad, and the next week he's all excited to play XYZ team. So what do you think is the reason why?
I think some of it is, I think we have some guys who are really talented that are young, and for whatever reason, they're not just understanding the defense. And then I think it's really like, I coach now. I'm like, look, one of my favorite guys to coach off is Ed Reed. And it's Ed Reed because that dude was always around the football. And to me, defense is about alignment, assignment, and then get your ass to the football. And when you do those 3 things, good things happen. And so to me, when we used to play, we had a loaf board. And so if you did not want to be on that loaf board because you were running, everyone saw your name up there, how many loafs you had. And so if you throw on that 2002 defense, 2001, guys were flying to the football. And when you fly to the football, you make one guy miss, you got to make 4 or 5 other guys miss. And you fumble that ball, there's 6 or 7 other guys right there to get that ball. And so I think that's the one piece that's missing from this defense is the desire to get to the football. And it has to be a passion about getting to that damn football.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing.
And you're getting cussed out. Someone's cussing you out because you're not getting to that damn ball. And it might be a coach, but it was probably me. But it was probably another guy on that defense that was doing it.
That's right.
So let's go to, we had your former teammate Derek Curry on. DC is a fool. DC is a fool. So DC kind of threw the defensive coordinator under the bus because he said our defense, man, in 2002, and we were talking about the Florida State game. I think Florida State got into the red zone like 4 times in the first half and came away empty-handed. And he was like, dude, there was some calls coming in where we were just like, hell no, we ain't running that. that ain't it. Hey, make a play. Shane, make a play. Mike Gooseby, make a play. Like, let's go. Defensive front, make a play. Campbell and the guys up front. Like, is that kind of like what you're talking about? Not to be disrespectful to the DC, but it comes down to the guys making plays on the field, no matter what the call.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, for sure. That's what people don't understand. Like a coach's job is to put you in a position to have success. That's it. They can't make the play for you. They can't cover for you. They can't beat the offensive tackle one-on-one for you. It's your job to do that. So it comes down to being able to make plays. I will say though, I remember the USC game, and I got into it with our DC because you sit back there and let Carson Palmer throw the ball. It's an easy game. I'm like, man, let us play man. Let's get after this dude. Let's blitz. If you watch the game, we played so much zone, and that dude just picked that zone apart.
Yeah.
Those receivers were getting after it. But to me, I my first 2 years starting, all we did was play man press. And we got after people. Yeah. And we said, man, this is not going to be, it's going to be a long day for you. I remember Coach Davey, we were playing Drew Brees. And they were one of the first teams to start going empty. And Coach Davey was like, F that. They want to go empty, try to get this guy to win the Heisman. We're going to hurt this dude. So we're coming after him. He goes, DBs, that means you guys are one-on-one.
You got one-on-one. You just got to make
Got to win your battles. We're going to come after them. We're going to help you, but you got to win your battles. That's defense, right? Like, let's get after people. Let's get to the football. Again, I think that's the one piece missing is guys having the desire to get to that ball. Because I watch these games. I'm like, look, I don't really care if they win or lose. I care how they win and lose.
Oh,
right. If they're playing with passion, they're bringing it. Like, I'm okay if they lose. Sometimes the team is just better than you. But I want to see that fire. Like, for me, we used to always say, like, man, you wear these golden helmets for everyone in this huddle right now, but also for everyone who's put this helmet on before you. And those are the people that you need to make impressed. Those are the people you need to make proud. And so I'm like, man, that's a lot of weight. I'm talking about Todd Light, right? D Mays, like watching these, like I'm trying to make those guys proud of me. And so I think that's what these guys need to understand. It's like, man, these guys are watching how you play, right? Like, how much does it mean to you? Because I know I broke my arm out there, I broke my foot. Like, I got a lot of stuff out there on that field. Like, what are you bringing to the table?
That's right.
Yo, that's deep. I got a lot of stuff out there on that field. That's. Are you proud now?
Yeah,
maybe.
At our
Are you proud now with the way Al Golden is letting Benji and Cam Hart play? Like,
they play a man to man.
Man up.
Again, these guys. Think about what we did to Ohio State too, and Marvin Harrison Jr. That dude didn't have many catches. Like, you bring these athletes in, like let them cook. Let me get out there. That's building confidence, right? Like telling you guys, hey, you're going one-on-one, Marvin Harrison Jr. I believe you can do it.
That's it.
And not only do I believe you can do it,
plan.
I'm going to make the calls that tell you I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? Think about the mindset. What's the message to those guys? Man, I believe you. I know you can do it.
And that's what I was frustrated with when it comes talking a little bit about Tyler again, is that we wasn't calling no plays for Tyler to feel like, we're giving him these packages like, look, you can only run inside, throw a slant, or read option. And I'm like, that's not helpful. And that's why I complain so much to why he should just be the starter. And then you'll figure out what he's good at as he's taking the lumps or doing good things. And once didn't do that, and then we brought in another guy, I said, we're not interested in Tyler the way we treat him.
No, for sure. Because we weren't winning a national championship that year anyway.
No.
So if you're not winning a national championship, you might as well prepare the team to do it for the next couple of years.
Exactly.
So I want to flip to the other side. As a defensive back, one of the biggest complaints we've seen, especially on social media, about the offense that has struggled as the teams have gotten better on the schedule is the wide receivers and their inability to get off bump and run and get open. From a defensive back standpoint, teams are really just walking 8-9 up to the line of scrimmage and challenging Notre Dame's offense and saying, look, we're coming after Sam Hartman. See what you can do. What is it with release packages and getting off that type of coverage? What do you think these young wide receivers, especially that have been pressed into service, what can they do? Or is it an OC issue putting them in certain positions, maybe bunch formations, motion, and other things to help them?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. Like you're talking about the receiver; those dudes are young dudes, man. Right? You're talking about a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores out there, and you're talking about going against some guys that are grown men that are 22 years old, right? Now they're playing against 18-year-olds. Like that's a tough job. So I think physically, I think they're challenged, and they're a little bit behind, and I think we saw that last year too, right? Like those guys couldn't get open. Like they're not putting fear into anyone. The other thing I think you can do with some play calling is help them out, like run some rub routes, run some crossing routes, let them try to take the top off once in a while. Like we run all these like 10-yard hits, 10-yard curl, like 5-yard hits. Yes, as a DB, like I know you're not gonna throw deep. So like until you scare me into that, I'm not gonna respect it. I know that's what that year 2002.
We love those 10-yard curls and 10-yard hitches. Like we
like
the hell out of them.
Right? If how many do we do? If I guess one time and I get it right, it's probably to the house, right? Like like we're not helping them out either.
When you say putting fear into the offense is hard as a defensive player, doing things like playing man, playing bump, what are some of the things as a defensive player you would say is that's putting fear into the offense that we're not doing defensively? Because I think we have a good defense. But I agree with you. I don't think teams offensively are like, man, there's going to be a long one versus Notre Dame because they just whooping our ass all play.
Yeah, I think some of it is a little bit scheme. I think some of it might be just too challenging. I remember when I played my senior year, we went into like games with like 5 defenses, and we knew those 5 defenses really, really well. And even like when I went to the NFL, I played in St. Louis, and Lovie Smith, we had probably 12 defenses. We went into every game with 4, and we knew every hole of that defense. Then I went to Pittsburgh. We had about 60 defenses. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so I look at this, and I think even like what was it? Xavier Watts had that first pick.
Yeah,
that was a busted coverage.
Yeah.
So that guy was uncovered. He was supposed to be at the middle of the field safety, and luckily, again, this is what blitzes do. They made him throw that ball quickly, but that guy was uncovered, right? So I think sometimes like our guys don't understand their assignment because they had I think they sliced the back out the backfield, and that guy was the tight end. He released up in the middle vert, and both guys covered the running back slicing out, and so he was uncovered. But fortunately, like I think number one, Baptiste got in there. He beat his tackle inside and was able to force some pressure, and Williams had to throw the ball off his back foot and just kind of lofted it too much. But if he throws that ball on the line, like that might be a touchdown.
Right.
So I think guys aren't fully understanding the scheme, and I think that's why you see more of the senior players playing as opposed to the younger, talented players.
Like the Jalen Sneeds of the world,
Man, that guy needs to play. He's too talented. You saw, like, he gets out there for a few plays. Like, he's talented, right? Like, but I think he's having trouble really fully understanding the whole scheme.
Man, just giving them a little bit too much. And like you said, Lovie Smith, I can echo that sentiment because Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher was like, yo, we had 3-4 plays. That was it. Either we were gonna be in cover 2, man, or we were blitzing. That was it. Every game.
But you knew how the offense was going to attack you. You knew the weakness of every single defense. right? And then you could just play fast. I always say, like, when you're thinking, like, during the play, like, you can't, it's too late. You have to think before the play so you can react during the play. And so I see sometimes our guys thinking during the play, and it's too late. At this level, guys are too fast. They're too quick. They're too smart. If you're thinking, you got beat.
Once again, the great Shane Walton right here with us on the Lucky Lefty podcast. I am very interested in knowing, I guess, the backstory with the great Joe Montana not being around campus until this weekend has something to do with the way his son was treated when he was there.
Really?
Yeah, they talked about it on the broadcast a little bit. He eventually ended up transferring, if I'm not mistaken. But there are a lot of players that seem like they're more willing to come back and be closer to the program than during the previous regime. Was there anything in particular? Because you guys always have a text thread. Like, what was the text thread like when it came to like going to games, being on the sideline? Like, that atmosphere Saturday night was fantastic because all of the former players that were there, heck, all of the former USC players that were there, like, you felt how enormous the rivalry was. Like, you felt how big that game was.
For sure.
And of course, almost 9 million people watching it. It's Notre Dame USC. So can you talk about that a little bit and how the text thread went and how the text thread has changed?
As far as you talking about being welcome back with Freeman?
Yeah.
Well, he's been significantly better than the last regime. There's been more. I've talked to more people probably in the last year from Notre Dame than I had probably BK's entire tenure.
Wow.
And I think he understands, like, hey, I didn't create this. There's been something special here before me, and I'm not going to try to change that and make it my own. I just want to add my little, 2 cents here, my 2 cents there. He's going to put his touches on it, but he knows that Notre Dame is about the guys that have come before you, because all the stuff they have now is because it was built on all the guys' backs who have been there before, the guys that are there right now. And I think Marcus Freeman understands that. And as a former player, I love that. I remember coming back probably 5-6 years ago, and like I couldn't even really get in the stadium. I'm like, man.
Yeah, no, you fighting to get in that stadium now. They double checking credentials, and hold on now.
I'm calling the SID to get in. It wasn't even the sports information department. It wasn't even the football staff.
You gotta call the big wigs and you get people up there. You can't.
So, to me, I'm like, why not have a big bleacher for your former players on the field? Like that's recruiting 101 right there.
Yeah.
Man, like I see all these stars when I walk in all hanging out together. I want to be a part of that. Yeah. Like, why make it difficult for us to get to the game?
Like CJ Carr, like you said, CJ Carr and Deuce Knight, the 24 and 25 quarterback recruits that have committed to Notre Dame, took a picture with Joe Montana in the locker room.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's different. Yeah. That's different than what I've seen from a recruiting standpoint and the atmosphere at Notre Dame. So that aligns with what you're talking about, Shane.
Yeah, I definitely think it has shifted towards the good in the last couple of years, which is an incredible thing, right? To me, you want that. Notre Dame is built on the history and tradition of the guys that have been there and done it the right way. And so why not embrace that? There's some good dudes. Why not embrace that? Why not have these guys around your program? Why not have these wonderful people that are doing incredible things out in the world? Why not have them back with your guys? So I think Marcus Freeman's really embraced that and understands that that's a significant piece of what Notre Dame means.
What would you do in today's college football landscape with this NIL? Would you be going for the bag, or would you still be focused on the tradition and getting to the league through, Notre Dame?
That's tough, man. I look at it, I'm like, man.
You remember all them cold nights in the South Bend with some dollars can help.
Oh man, that's tough. I think I would have still wanted to be at Notre Dame because of
Yeah.
what it means. Like to me, there's a greater purpose. And it's not just money. It's not just football. There's certain things like doing this stuff, right? I feel like connected to you, and this is the first time meeting you.
Yeah.
So there's something special about that. Even like I know when I was in the NFL, it's like if there was a guy on the team and he was coming to play us, I went to his hotel, picked him up, and we went to dinner, right? Guys in the NFL knew that that's how Notre Dame guys were. And so
Yeah,
for
that's
me,
our
that's
boy. He's
something.
like, hey, what's up, man? You
Yeah,
trying to get some
everyone, yeah, you Notre Dame guys, you guys stick together. I'm like, yeah, we do. It's just different, right? Because I think we know how difficult it is to be there, right? I think all of us had other options to go that were probably easier options, but we chose to grind. We chose to do it the hard way. And I think we're closer because of that. But some of that money looks really nice.
Not bad, man. It's not bad.
Do you think that's a perfect segue with the departure of Father Jenkins and Jack Swarbrick both stepping away?
Yeah.
And I have a theory. I think Jack Swarbrick is very traditional. And I think he knows in order for the football program to have a fighting chance, some things and some decisions need to be made. And I don't think he was comfortable making those decisions because of, his standards. But I think it's big of him to step out of the way and say, look, I know Notre Dame needs to move forward. So we need to get somebody in here that can facilitate that. And in comes Pete Bavacqua to be the next athletic director. And we'll see who the next president of the university will be. But what are your thoughts? And he mentioned the NIL space. Do you think this signals Notre Dame possibly being a little bit more aggressive in the NIL space?
I think we're going to have to if we want to compete, right? You look at that big dude that decommitted and went to Alabama. Why did he decommit?
Yeah.
If he loves the school, why did he decommit?
Yeah.
So the landscape of college football is changing. It just is. And you have to adjust and adapt, just like everything else in life, right? I don't adjust and adapt and start learning other things, I get left behind. And so I think it's admirable of him if that's what happened, if they were pushing him to change and he wasn't comfortable doing it. I think it's admirable to step down and say, hey, I'm not going to change who I am. Yep. But I'm not comfortable with that. So if that's where you're headed, I'm going to go in a different direction. So if that's the way it happened, I think that's, it's best for both parties, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a change coming to the landscape of college football, and if we don't get with it, we're gonna get left behind.
And I think, look, a lot of people take issue with Jack Swarbrick, and I point out, I said, look, you can say what you want to say, but the business of Notre Dame, Jack Swarbrick handled that. Like every time it was a major meeting concerning college football, he's in the meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have the presidents for conferences, and then you have Jack Swarbrick. Notre Dame is the only individual entity at the big table every time.
Yeah.
So for that, I tip my cap. Now all of the other stuff, I understand NIL. Another thing, softening of the transfer requirements to give Notre Dame a better chance in the transfer portal to go and get, better guys. Those are things that Pete Bavacqua and the new president will have an opportunity to work with Marcus Freeman and possibly make things a little bit easier and more advantageous for the football program.
Because that's where my question comes in then, is that, okay, Marcus Freeman, we believe, has enough of the right stuff on a player coach level to connect with the kids. But in your opinion, do you think that Marcus Freeman has the faith of the administration to get it done with the obstacles that are in place themselves? Because my whole thing is, I just think Marcus Freeman won't be allotted the amount of time it would take to do those things because of just how, like you said, there's less patience going on in the game and this and that. But What's the faith that you have in Marcus Freeman being able to get it done in these 2 years that have been a lot has happened for Marcus Freeman in a 2-year span, more
Yeah.
so than I think any other head coach in football this early?
For sure. I would hope that if they invested in him, that they give him all the necessary resources to be successful, right? Because if not, it's just a setup, and he's just like a puppet, right?
Just a setup.
So I would hope that they give him all the necessary resources that most of all these other schools have to be successful. Because I said it earlier, like it's a different place. Like we get to recruit, maybe 14, 20% of the recruits out there. It's already difficult enough. And then now guys want to transfer and we can't get them either. So I would hope that they put their faith in him, because if it's not him, then who are you going to go get?
Yeah, that's my question. Who is out there that's just so much better than what he's doing right now?
And that wants to come here and like have all these stringent rules. Who are you going to go get? How many people have turned it down?
Because I don't think we'll attract a Lincoln Riley type, a Deion Sanders type of coach.
No, I don't want Deion here. No. And I love Deion, so I'm not saying it for that reason. I would be bickering too much on this podcast every day with fans. For my health purposes. No Deion. No Deion.
Too much with Deion, man.
Bro, I think Marcus is the guy, man. Again, it's difficult to learn how to be a head coach at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I think he's learning on the run. He's learning rather quickly. And I think what he's doing with the former players, I think what he's doing with the recruiting, I think what he's doing with bringing in some hires he's bringing in, I think he's doing the right things. From what I understand, the culture is great. From every former player I talk to, they love the guy. And so he's doing something right. It is a difficult task to have as your first head coaching job, but I think he's made a lot of the adjustments and he's looked within. And I think the thing about him is that from the outside, at least, it looks like he's humble enough to admit when he was wrong, or admit when he was over his head, or admit
maybe a
when
little
he
bit too much.
Yeah,
he's too honest.
Maybe too honest.
And then willing to grind, right?
Yeah,
to make it happen. Like, I appreciate someone like that.
It was funny because I told Malik, I was like, coming off the Louisville loss, I'm like, man,
at least
I look at this game and I know we are the type of team that USC really does not want to see. They don't really want to see us if the real Notre Dame shows up.
That's right.
The trenches, the physicality, defensive backs that are able to go man to man, like, they don't want to see us. I said, but man, I don't know how that mindset is going to be coming off this Louisville game.
Yeah.
And man, they put the camera on Marcus Freeman in the tunnel when they were getting ready to come out. And I was like, oh, they're ready. I said, okay. He has them ready tonight. And I was like, I'm good. I didn't know it was going to end up being 48-20. But I from that point, I was like, oh, Notre Dame's bringing that physicality tonight. Like, I hope USC is ready. And I don't think Lincoln Riley, I don't know if you guys heard his press conference yesterday. That dude is totally oblivious to what happened on Saturday night. He's oblivious. The excuses he had, I'm like, man, you got your butt kicked. Stop all that. Like, just say, we Dabo Swinney last year, what did he say?
He said, we got whooped.
They whooped our tail. They just flat out whooped our tail. That's all Lincoln Riley had to say. We had a chance. I told our coordinators right there, if we get a stop in the fourth quarter, we're going to win this game when we cut it to 11. All right, man. Okay.
I mean, that catches up with you, right? Because if you're not honest with your team, guys, they're not dumb.
Mm-hmm. They're not.
Right? They know why they lost. They got whooped up front. Mm-hmm. They got out coached. They got out physical. They got out hearted. Like, they know. So you keep making those excuses. He's going to lose the locker room. Like, hey, guys, we got to look in the mirror. We got our butt whooped. Practice, we got to do this. Mindset, this, right? I could get behind someone like that. So
But hey, look, they
'Cause
got enough.
they
They got
played
enough
you.
problems on their hands
They
right now.
played
They got
Utah
Washington to
Saturday.
still play. They got to
Right.
play Oregon. They
They
got
played Utah
Utah.
Saturday.
hey, and Washington could bring it too. But to
Yeah.
me, that's how I always approach that SC game. Right? It's like, man, we need to be physical. I know these dudes are fast. I know they're quick, but we need to be physical with these dudes. And you do that, that's a Notre Dame game. That's our secret sauce, right? Be
Yeah.
physical. We're athletic, but be physical.
Would that be the win that changes the season for us? Because me and Shaun has talked about a lot. Ohio State was the game for us this season to overcome a lot of what we.
Wait, when you see him scratching his head.
Because I'm like, the USC game is great, but that Ohio State game is what I
Dude,
wanted. You know,
we have been smacking USC for decades, bro.
Uh,
I'm sorry, as a fan and someone that covers the program, that does nothing for me. It just doesn't.
I'm with you. We
It
needed to
doesn't.
win that Ohio State. That game, I rewatched that game 2 times, and we were the more dominant football team.
yes,
On
yes,
offense and defense.
yes.
Like we let that one get away. That was our
yeah.
game. Like, and I'm tired of saying that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm tired of saying that. Like, that was our game.
That
And
was our
people
game.
want to blame the coaches for not having 11 guys. I'm like, dude, we practiced this all week. I know this dude's supposed to be standing right next to me. Why would you be yelling to the sideline for him to get in?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
for 2 plays?
For
Like,
2 plays.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
The moment was too big for those young guys or something. I don't know. It's too big.
I know where I line up, and I know who lines up right next to me every single time in this set.
And then you look over the overhead view. The nose tackle isn't even looking left or right. He's just looking straight ahead. Like I just gotta. I'm like, where's the awareness, linebacker? You see a gap right there.
None.
You just not going.
Nothing. Like you don't realize something's wrong. So I know we want to blame coaches for that, but shoot, like you know what, if you're on that position group, you're supposed to be out there.
That's right.
And where's the captain of the defense screaming to the sideline that, hey, we're missing this dude?
Who JD Te'o? Oh yeah.
We talk about that a lot.
We can't. According to Notre Dame fans, the defense can't operate without JD Te'o.
He do nothing without
him. 2 straight plays, he didn't notice 10 players were on the field.
I mean that's bad. I was mad.
Yeah. And I see someone in the chat, and we say that jokingly. I do, because I don't have a problem being critical of the linebacker play. But someone said move on. You can't move on.
No, that's
because those type of wins help the program move on.
Yeah.
The program can't take the next step until they win those type of games. So you're saying move on? We can't. Yeah. We're in the same spot.
Definitely can't move on.
We can't move on.
Over that.
Yeah. You move on by winning those type of games. And as you said, Shane, stop saying, man, we almost had that one. We should have won that one.
Yeah. We got to win those big games. Like that's a program changer. And then with those program changers, you get guys to come in who are program changers. And then those games aren't close.
Then the games aren't close. Yeah, that's what I want. I don't want the games not to be close. Because we have enough of the right stuff. If you looking on paper to paper, you're like, man, this Notre Dame team stacked top to bottom. Depth and all.
I mean, do we? Because according to you, Malik, we're not getting the juice that we thought we were supposed to get from the quarterback.
Man. And I think that for the quarterback position and who he is as a person, he's more of a constant. I don't think he's the catalyst for us to get over the hump, but he's a constant. If you just everybody do their job, he'll do his and we'll have some success. But those 3 games that we signed him for, essentially, we needed him to be the catalyst. We needed him to be the reason why. That's why I'm like, Ohio State game, he shouldn't have worse stats than Kyle McCord, a 4-game starter. He should be having the Jack Cone stats of the Fiesta Bowl when Jack threw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's the game that it should have looked like, because that's who we brought him. That's why we brought him in. Because if not, Tyler could have did that.
Yeah, that's why we paid him.
That's why we paid him. So crazy stuff.
I do still think I think we're talented at the wide receiver position. I just think we're young and inexperienced.
Yes. And I don't think
How much on Chancey do you put that on though? Like, yeah, they're young and they're talented, but your receiver coach got to have some effect in there to get them, like
For
Ohio
sure.
State, young guys going there every year.
Yeah.
Cardell Tate going in there still with his high school book bag on, putting up points in numbers. So I'm trying to figure out where are we missing it at, because I think our guys are young and talented as well.
I think they are too. I don't know what we're doing. I think there's a disconnect for sure. And I don't know if it's a fear of the big stage from coaches or players, but man, we brought these guys in here. Let them do what we brought them in here to do.
Yeah.
Right. I remember Coach Davey used to say it all the time. It's like, man, I didn't bring you here to be a robot. Right. You can be an individual within the framework of the team.
Yeah.
Like you brought this, like, look, you brought me in here. You knew who I was. Let me do what you brought me here to do.
Yeah. And I will say this, and we have pointed this out, and this is one of the things that made us say, danger, Will Robinson, danger before the season started. Deion Colsey went out with injury. That's your veteran starter. Jaden Thomas has been injured. That's your other veteran starter. And the leading receiver, stats-wise, returning, transferred to Ohio State. So your three veterans that have actually been on the big stage either haven't been available or they're no longer in the program.
Well,
So at that point, you're depending on these youngsters. And that's a tough task.
For sure. And we were already thin at that unit coming into the year. And when you're thin at one unit, guys start getting hurt because they're having to practice more. They're having to do more like scout reps. They're having to do more game reps. And so you just get worn down. And so when you're as thin as we are, like I see more injuries coming for that unit because they're beat up right now. And you ask these freshmen, these 18, 19-year-old like boys
to start and be a one receiver out there and make the game winning plays.
I mean, those dudes, what was that game? They were exhausted.
Probably the Duke game. I thought they looked exhausted the Duke game.
That's what I'm talking about, because that's when we were really thin. Jaden Thomas, like, those dudes were exhausted. Like, people don't understand. Usually, like, you go run a go route, you either come out or you come out the next play. These dudes didn't get to come out, man.
They walking 40 yards back to the huddle, back to the line of scrimmage. That's tough.
and then now, how hard are you blocking on the run play?
Yeah.
Right? You can't go 100% the whole game at receiver.
No, you can't. You can't. And look, the only difference between Notre Dame and top elite teams are difference makers.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
That's
it. And
but it's weird.
There is no freshman Michael Floyd or Golden Tate in this class. You don't have one that can just come in and be physically dominant.
Yeah.
And play like that. So, you play the hand you're dealt. I'm sure it was not having those veterans that you expected. Impacts the play calling, impacts how you want to do things for Jared Parker. Sam Hartman has to build a rapport with somebody, which is probably why we saw Mitchell Evans come to the forefront at tight end.
Yes.
Well, heck, somebody's going to come to the forefront at tight end at Notre Dame anyway. That's just the way it is. But it has been very difficult to watch this Notre Dame offense, and hopefully with the bye week, Malik, like you said, both of you, they won't look as tired or exhausted as some people has talked about. They'll be refreshed. And then they'll come up with some things to help these young receivers out, because they've been productive, but to help them be more impactful. Sam Hartman almost got Rico killed against USC on that crossing route. I'm like, man, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, you throw the ball high and I'm like, dude.
We're going to run out of receivers now doing that.
I know Rico is a freshman, but I would have had some words on the sidelines like, hey, bro, don't hang me out like that.
I know. I would like to see Love have more design calls for him. I think that dude, he whatever it is, he has it.
He
And I
got
think
it, right?
He
Whatever
just
it
doesn't.
is, he just
He
got
doesn't
it.
get the touches he needs to make. Like I remember Julius Jones his freshman year. He reminds me a little bit of Julius. Like every time that dude touches the ball, you're like, "What's this dude gonna do?" And I think
He can
Love
break.
has that. He has that.
Sure.
He just. But if you look what we did with Julius back then, that dude played, right?
Yeah.
Kick return, punt return. He was in the rotation at running back. Like, get him his touches. Like when you got those special players, like you said, we don't have that many special players. Now, when you have one, get him in there somehow. Same thing on defense, right? That number 3, get him in there somehow.
Yeah.
Figure it out. That dude's
Just put him
special.
in. Just
You know,
work around.
51 that had the sack, even though they got the penalty. True freshman.
Yeah.
Player.
Figure out a way.
Like he's the first person I've seen blow past a tackle. Just off pure speed. I'm like, okay.
Yep. That's like Justin Tuck freshman year. Like that dude, hey, he physically wasn't really ready, but this dude's special. We got to get him out there somehow.
Yeah. All right, before we let you go, Shane, do a little something with former Notre Dame players called Back on Campus. Who was your OG when you first got to Notre Dame? Who was your OG?
Man, there was a lot of them. Bobby Brown.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good
Johnny
one.
Sanders. D. Cooper. Who else? We had some good ones, man. Devron Harper was a good one for me.
I remember that. Yeah.
There were some linebackers. Ronnie Nix from Texas. He was a thumper. Anthony Denman. Anthony Weaver.
Big Weave. Okay.
Yeah, G.I. Grant Irons. Yeah, David Givens was my roommate. Arnez Battle.
Hey man, did David Givens have like a key to the weight room? that dude was rock. I'm like, man, you're a wide receiver. What?
Eating weights for breakfast.
Man, that dude, man, he was built different. That dude, he looked like one of those muscle men. You know, the ones the toys where they have like the little skinny right here, and man, that dude, he looked fake. He was so big. He came from the same high school.
Man.
David Boston came from Humble, Texas.
Yeah,
he was built just kind of like that dude. David was that D-Give was, man, that dude was special, man. We had some special receivers. They used to call themselves Afros.
Right. America's finest receivers on Saturday. Yeah.
And I used to say, on Saturday.
I remember that.
Monday through Friday, you getting beat up.
Who started that? Did D-Mays start that?
Yeah, it was D-Mays. It was
I thought Malcolm. It was him and Lake Dawson, right?
Yeah, Malcolm Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
That to me is like that's the coldest nickname I've ever heard.
Afros, America's finest receivers on Saturday. And I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. You talked about what you left on that field. Give me one game that you always think about and you're like, yo, I left everything on the field in that game.
Nebraska, 2001. Man, we just knew because they were still triple option. They had big fullbacks. They had 2 running backs. One was like 250, 260. And man, I'm telling you, we were trying to kill those dudes.
I'm telling you, feet tackles. You just
I'm not. Every hit we did was like we were trying to knock people out. That was when you could use your helmet still too. So we were still using our helmet.
You shooting for knees, ankles, and shoulders.
Everything. It wasn't just like get him to the ground. I'm trying to hurt this guy. We used to try to knock people out. Sometimes we got knocked out, but we were trying to knock people out. Yeah, that was a physical game. I remember after that game, a lot of their guys were saying this was the most physical football game we've ever played.
Yeah,
they're saying we're hurting this game, and that's how we wanted to play defense, right?
See, you want to hear that because that's similar to Malik, what the Ohio State players were saying in the locker room.
They said, I don't know how we won that.
They like, dude, they're like, yo, this is the most physical offensive line and defensive line we faced
you're doing something. You're doing that. That's who we are, right? We're
Right.
all the limelight, all the notoriety we get. We're still a blue collar football team.
All right. Dopest professor.
Professor Pierce.
Mm.
Love that dude. I hated history, and he was my history professor. And the way he did it was he had 3 groups of people. You were pro, you were con, or you were the judge. And he would give you a topic, Brown versus Board of Education. And you had to go, if you were pro, you had to go find out reasons why you should be pro for that. And then you go and come argue in class. And I'm like, man, what a dope way to get you to dig deep. Instead of just reading like through the book, man, you were really digging deep and trying to like. So for someone that's competitive, right? I'm like, man, I'm trying to win this. So it forced me to really dig deep and really study and really dig into that concept or that topic, whatever we're doing. I was like, I told him, thank you, man. That dude was unbelievable.
That's
and
what's up.
he knew you couldn't get anything past him. If you said one wrong fact, you go, it actually didn't happen that way. He knew everything.
You shuffle all your papers up. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that dude was dope, man. I loved him, man.
That's what's up. Now, I know the long history of trash talking amongst the football team when it comes to hooping. Who was the dopest hooper? Your time there
on the football team. Oh, probably Arnaz, man. That dude was so talented at everything he did.
Arnaz Battle?
Arnaz, man, laziest dude I know, but that dude so
laziest dude you know.
Oh, he's so talented. He was my roommate, and that dude was so lazy. I'm like, dude, you made dinner. Wash these dishes, dude.
Yeah,
got dishes in there. Nah, Arnaz is my boy, man. That dude, he was to this day probably the best athlete I've ever been around. Wow. I think he probably played at 220, 225, the fastest, most explosive, quickest, agile. That dude was special, man.
At 225?
That dude was
big. That's considered a heavy back in college football today.
he was recruited as a quarterback, right?
Yeah, he was special quarterback.
And then switched over. He has one of the Arnaz Battle might have one of the top 3 moments in Notre Dame history, bro. That touchdown against Michigan State.
Oh yeah,
bro. Because I'm telling you, as a fan watching it, I'm sitting here like, man, I can't believe that we let Charles Rogers catch this darn ball in the back of the end zone. We're about to lose this darn game. And then literally 5 minutes later, I'm like going bananas.
That dude, he is special, man. You know, the other good basketball player right behind Arnaz was probably Tuck. That dude was
really?
Man. Oh, Tuck could hoop,
really?
Man.
He looked stiff on the basketball court.
Nah, Tuck could hoop, man. He could hoop. I mean, I remember Tuck, when Tuck left, he was like 285. He had a 42.5-inch vert. Yeah, Tuck could hoop, man. Tuck could hoop.
At 285?
Okay. Yes. That's crazy.
Go look at his combine stats. 285, 42.5-inch vert.
Now, Shane, that's not shocking to me, because if you were to ask Malik the same question about his time, he's going to give you one person and you probably be like, ain't no way.
Oh, Mike McGlinchey.
Mike McGlinchey.
Man, that brother. Man, that brother could play. I don't know if it's just because he was 6'8" and 2 whatever or 3 whatever, but it's just and he's got like skilled hands. Like he's big, goofy, big, strong, you know. But his hands are real finesse. So he just lay up, finger roll all the time. I'm like, you like a real big man. Like, you know, try out for the Jazz or something. You kind of nice.
Oh man. We had this dude, he played guard for us, Jim Jones. Jim Jones was so big and wide, he couldn't put a backpack on, so he carried like a duffel bag around. We used to kill him. I said, man, I'll give you $20, you can put this backpack on. He couldn't get that backpack on. We would play basketball.
He couldn't bend to put the strap on.
Man, he was too wide, man. He was like a block. But we were playing basketball at was it Lofton? Where you play basketball? Whatever. We were playing basketball. This big dude, he's probably 6'2", 6'3", got to be 310, 315. Out there just stroking threes. I said, man, if you don't get your big ass down here, get some rebounds.
I do not
Big
stand
men,
out here shooting
big
these
men
threes.
always want to have the ball in their hands and swear they're guards, man. They swear they're guards, man. One last on-campus question for Shane Walton. Thank you for joining us, big bro. We greatly appreciate you giving us some time today. Oh, man. If one team in Notre Dame history that you could go back and play for, who would it be? Even if it was going back in one of the years you played with your boys. You know, would it be the Lou Holtz era? Would it be now? Would it be the Brian Kelly era, maybe with the 2015 team? That was a squad. Like, what squad do you look back at and say, you know what? I love playing at Notre Dame when I did, but boy, if I could have played with those dudes.
Probably the Holtz years when they had a squad, man, and a bunch of those dudes are my good friends, and I never even played with them.
Really?
Yeah, he had a squad. Those dudes, they were just different. Like Lou Holtz, he could bring, like,
he could get around them recruitment standards that we got at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he brought some dudes in, but Lou Holtz knew how to control and regulate guys, right? And he had the respect, and guys weren't. I mean, till to this day, guys are afraid of him. This little dude, but
yeah,
I mean, I would have loved to play for those teams. Guys were telling me, they said, man, the games were easy. They said practice was so hard, the games were easy. Like we used to look forward to going to the games because we knew we were going to hurt people.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to play for the Holtz, like the 95, 96.
I think his greatest gift that you talked about, both of you have talked about it, was his ability to give confidence to players. We interviewed Jeff Burris, and Jeff Burris was a All-American running back and was recruited to Notre Dame as a running back. So when he got to campus, his first practice, he said he was with Willie Clark, who was also recruited as a running back. And they were like 6th, 7th on the depth chart. And he said he saw Ricky Waters running on the field with his shirt off, and he was like, yo, we got a lot of work to do. He was like, I'm looking, this is Ricky Waters like junior year. So, you know,
he's
rocked up. Yeah. He was like, we got a lot of work to do. So he said, we're 5 games into the season, and the staff knocks on our dorm at midnight and tells me and Willie, Coach Holtz wants to see you. And he said, dude, they take us to the practice facility, and we walk in, and Coach Holtz says, we got injuries. Both you guys are going to play defensive back this week. And I was like, yo, who are you guys going up against? He was like, Tennessee. He said, this was Tuesday of game week. He said Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And nobody knew that me and Willie Clark had an extra practice with the defensive back coach and Lou Holtz at midnight.
Oh, that's separate
from practice. He said because we had injuries, our starter, we were like, our top 3 defensive backs were down. And he said that week, I forget who the defensive coordinator was. He said, yo, they got us prepared to go in and face Andy Kelly. I think it was Carl Pickens, Andy Kelly, Alvin Harper. Like, dude, they got us ready to play. We were scared to death. And all we did was play zone. But they got us ready to play against those dudes, and we ended up winning the game. That's a special gift as a head coach, to be able to go take 2 of your All-American running backs and say, yo, we need you here this week. And both of them ended up being big-time defensive backs in Notre Dame as their careers went on.
But that's what you're talking about as a leader, right?
Yeah.
A leader is someone that has influence on your thoughts, your actions, and your beliefs. And Lou Holtz could get anyone to believe anything that he wanted them to believe. And that's why that dude was special. That and his ability to connect with people and be genuine about it. Not this fake connection stuff, like genuine connection. There's one of my buddies told me a story. He said he saw, like, he was getting recruited by Coach Holtz to come in his house, and he had a little brother that was a really good basketball player. And Coach Holtz, fast forward 20 years, Coach Holtz sees this guy in the airport. He goes, "Hey, how's your little brother doing? What do you ever do with basketball?"
Wow.
30 years.
Right.
So he's not coming in there with sales pitches. That dude came in as a genuine dude into your house to connect and to lead you. And I think that's why Holtz was special.
Shane, as I let you go, I know you probably would have asked Coach Holtz to get back there and return kicks. That line was long during that era, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That line was long.
Yeah, that was no chance for me.
Notre Dame fans, the great Shane Walton right here with us on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Big bro, we got to have you back sometime soon. I want to have you come back and watch some film with us on some of these defensive back recruits.
Yeah.
Would you do that with us?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Shane Walton, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you, bro. Have a blessed day.
All right, fellas. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Left, that was one of the best interviews we had, bro.
That's right.
That's why Notre Dame players, man, current and former, are just the best in the biz, bro, to be able to sit down and talk to you, Left. We come back, we get into HBO Showtime and Notre Dame. What does it mean? We'll talk about it coming up. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Welcome back, Lucky Lefty Podcast. The ONORA boys in the building. Shaun Davis, the original Lucky Lefty, Malik ZAIRE. Down in, where did you fly into? You're making it sound like you flew into like a hick town in the middle of nowhere.
I drove to the hick town.
Oh.
I wouldn't even call it a hick town. It's just the middle of literally nowhere. It's kind of crazy.
Notre Dame fans, we have to apologize because we had a show scheduled for 8 o'clock.
Yes.
That was discussed and confirmed, but I've come to realize that my bro and my co-host does not know how to tell time when it comes to different time zones.
Okay, but so you're thinking, okay, boom, you're saying, hey, 7. And I'm like, okay, boom, a 7.
No. I asked you.
Yeah, you
the
asked
question
me,
was,
7.
What time? I said, bro, what time do you land? I said, what time did you land in Houston?
Land was the crucial part. I missed the land part. I'm thinking at it like, okay, boom, I'm gonna get there, because I had an hour from the airport to here, and then I had the 2-hour time change because it's 3 hours in LA. So I'm trying to add it all up, man, and get to the airport. It was bad. Like, the time zone be messing me up, because then everybody loves saying PT, but that's Mountain West, right?
Bro,
let
me tell you how the conversation with me and Shane went. I should have brought this up with Shane. I hit Shane up and I said, okay, which day works for you and what time? He said Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I said, great, that's 11 a.m. Central time. It was easy calculation for me, bro.
Wait. You go off of Eastern Standard first, right?
No, you don't.
That's the 3-hour part.
All you do is know where the person is that's asking you. I'm in Central. That's 2 hours ahead
from
of
PT.
Pacific. Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Why are you worried about Eastern?
Because I'm always basing everything off of Eastern, because I'm 3 hours from, like a TV schedule.
Because you do know Texas. You do know Texas is Central, right?
Yes. Okay. So I'm adding
2. Just 2, not 3. Just 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been tough. I'm gonna get it right though.
Did you finally get your car though? You finally got your car?
Man, so I land. We get there like 11:30. Avis, but it's still late. So I'm thinking there's nobody at the airport. I'm going down there. The lines from Avis all the way to like the elevator. So I get off the elevator. I'm right in the line for Avis. And you know, it always makes you a little upset when you get impatient because you look at the front desk and you got the workers all huddled up, just chilling on their phones. Like, why y'all not, hurrying up? That had me bent for a good amount of time. It was like an hour and a half I was waiting in line. But I didn't realize that, even if you reserve a car, they may not have nothing there.
Right, because people have to bring the inventory back, and
Right.
they don't have the
But it's like,
inventory.
but rental cars, it's so loose. Like you can just, if you need it for a couple more days, you can do that. You just pay
Yeah,
as you go. So we're in a line of like 30, 40 people, and they don't have any cars there. So we
yeah,
got people taking 12 passenger vans
yeah.
and buses and half semis, and it'd be like two people. So
So I don't
man,
know if you saw this, but Showtime Sports, Showtime Boxing are no longer
Showtime Box is done.
dissolved.
That's
That
because of
means
pay-per-view, right?
the All the Smoke podcast, the podcast with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce,
Oh,
done.
they mixed the whole channel.
The whole thing.
Damn.
HBO out of the boxing business. Really out of the sports business. The show Brian Gumble has, he's retiring from that. That's gone. And PBC, which is the production company that has produced boxing fights, shows like All Access on HBO and Showtime.
That's done too.
They're not done. They're taking their package of production to apps and streaming services like the Zone. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
DAZN?
that's the
The Zone.
DANZ. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Zone, and the other one is let me get
I'm
it here.
blaming it on all these
And
TikTok
Amazon
fights.
Prime. Amazon Prime. So now ESPN has the market via ESPN Plus for the up and coming fighters like Shakur Stevenson that was fighting on have most of his fights with ESPN Plus. But Shakur is about to step into that big time fight pay-per-view.
Right.
So now his fights would probably be somewhere else. How does this play into Notre Dame? And this is something we talked about, Notre Dame making sure that they increase their content and
Yeah.
making sure that their brand is more than the game.
Yeah.
Possibly having their own pregame show that's not connected to NBC, which I think Notre Dame fans would greatly appreciate because having a Sunday night football crew, basically, or people to have Notre Dame doing a pregame show is, as it used to be said on First Take, ass a 9, ass a 10, ass 11. It just makes no sense. We've seen the show now with Marcus Freeman each week that they have on Watch Indeed, the Notre Dame YouTube channel, but you need to do more. You need to be able to stream more on Peacock, right? Because
Yeah.
no longer are these big deals and these big companies willing to spend a bunch of money for the product.
No.
That's done.
You see it happen in the music business too.
Yeah, and Notre Dame, the Ohio State numbers, fantastic. The USC numbers, fantastic. Notre Dame is very similar to the Dallas Cowboys. People love you, people hate you, but they watch. See, that's the thing. That's what makes Dallas who they are. That's what makes Notre Dame who they are. People love you, people hate you, but they watch. But as a university, to increase value to an NBC when they're talking about a new TV deal, what do you have to get to NBC other than just a football game? Because it's too competitive out there now. Left, I can count on one hand how many TV shows I watch, right?
All year or just in?
Yes. And dude,
Hold on, I can name them. The Shy.
Yes.
Power.
Yes.
That includes all of the series.
Yes.
Maybe a game show in there. Maybe like a just if you flipping channels, you might put it on just to have it on.
No, the sports shows, the morning sports shows.
Yeah, there's morning sports shows like
Yeah, so that's
Undisputed First
three.
Take.
That's
That's
three.
three, and then you got your games on the weekend if you're
That's
counting
four.
sports games.
That's
Okay,
four.
and then maybe your music award shows, shit like the BET Music Awards or something like
Which
that.
is
Maybe.
like once or twice
Once
per
or twice a year.
I just started watching this series called The Irrational on NBC.
The Irrational. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a nerdy mystery.
Yeah, you got to have a mystery
Type
in there,
of dude.
mystery crime doc. But
Yes.
that's more for like subscription service. If you Netflix in or Hulu in or something like that.
Yeah, and there are some reruns I would watch, like a Chicago PD, Chicago Fire,
Are
stuff
you
like
a
that.
Law and Order guy? You watch the hell out of some Law and Order. The Office?
SVU. I will
SVU
watch
is
the
a good one.
SVU every now and then, but this is my point, dude. I watch podcasts. That's the bulk of my viewing when I'm not away from the house. Like, I don't watch TV shows, right? And so that means the competition for the attention of the consumer
It's
is
outrageous.
so crazy right now, right?
Even
so
for me,
crazy.
it's hard for people to sometimes find my games because it's on streaming services and different channels. And ever since Spectrum dropped the ESPN and Disney package, and I mean, people are messed up out here trying to find, the sports to watch because it's just all these. You gotta, like, for instance, remember Notre Dame when they first did the download Peacock, and people were like, "Man, I ain't downloading no Peacock." Now Peacock not bad. I actually had the premium Peacock channel because my lady likes the Housewives of whatever city, and they got 23 seasons. It's all on Peacock.
Yeah, I think I got Peacock. Yeah, for when Notre Dame went on there, but then I was watching Bel Air.
Bel Air came on
when that series came on, and then I found out that they house some of the old wrestling pay-per-views, like Starrcade, the old WrestleManias. They have like that. I'm like, oh snap!
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Saturday night's main event.
That's
like,
right.
Y'all don't know anything about that. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
You know what you gotta watch though? That's real interesting.
Yo, by the way, did you see? There's a trailer out. There's a movie coming out. A movie about the Von Erichs, bro.
About the who?
About the Von Erichs. That's WCCW. That might be before your time. I think
so.
But bro, let me tell you something. This was before Hulk Hogan, bro. This is before Hulk Hogan.
This is before. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bobby Lashley.
This is like Kamala. This is Kamala, Iceman King Parsons, the Freebird, Michael P.S. Hayes. See, this might be before your time, bro.
Is Kurt Angle in there? Because I'm a Kurt Angle guy. This
ain't Kurt Angle, boy. It's this family.
Okay, it's beyond me.
WCCW, it's this legendary family named the Von Erichs, with their father Fritz was an old school wrestler, and he had this move called the claw. This man's hands would cover the entire face of a wrestler, bro.
Yeah.
And he would get cast to submit off this move. And all of his kids.
Like, just palming their face.
Just palming your face like this, dude. People would start bleeding and everything.
Bleeding?
It was bananas. It was. Now, at the time, I thought it was super amazing. I'm sure the wrestlers had like razors and that, Yeah. But all of his sons, he had an oldest son named David, who was actually the first person. I think David was the first Von Erich to beat Ric Flair and win the world championship. And then David died tragically.
Oh.
And then my favorite was Kevin. Kevin wrestled barefoot, bro.
Barefoot?
No boots. I'm getting a little bit too excited right now. I'm sorry, Notre Dame fans. Kevin was barefoot, bro. Coming off the top rope, barefoot.
Top rope.
Man. Man, bro. Man, let me tell you something, bro. That Kev was my boy.
They said they all died tragically?
Yes, they all died tragically. Then you had Kerry Von Erich.
Oh, there's 4 of them. Or 3 of them. 4.
4 brothers. Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah.
Like this, if I'm not mistaken, help me out, fans. Help me out, fans. I think the first 3 brothers all beat Ric Flair to win the world championship. I know for sure that David and Kevin did. I know they did for sure. I think Kerry did too. I'm trying to remember because I remember all of the guys rushing the ring when Kerry beat Ric Flair, if I'm not mistaken. However, then they had the baby boy, Michael. Michael was the baby boy, and they really tried to keep him out of wrestling. But Kerry ended up being in WWF for a few years towards the end of his career, but they all died tragically. They have a movie coming out, man, full feature film.
Oh, they died together type or just
no. Just at different times, man.
Okay, damn. Man, okay, I might have to check that out. It's on Peacock? I got Peacock Premium. I'm watching all day.
I think it's going to be in select theaters because the trailer, I think, said select theaters, but then it will be streaming.
Yeah, everything going
as well. It was like suicide for one, a car crash for another one.
Oh,
it was
so this is some freak stuff almost. Damn. Yeah, wrestling, man. Hey, growing up, that was legit. I thought it was. I went to a couple of matches myself.
Yeah. Yo, bro, I'm telling you, man, that for me, because at the same time you had NWA with Nick Bockwinkel, Baron von Raschke. Like that was the golden era for me. Or that was the era. Put it like this. You got Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
So Hulk Hogan is the Michael Jordan of wrestling. It's not even close. No,
I thought it was Ric Flair or John Cena.
No. Talking about Ric Flair was never commercial. Ric Flair is an icon. But as far as like Ric Flair and NWA did not hit the peak of Vince McMahon, WWF, and Hulk Hogan. Commercially. I'm not talking about who's the most famous wrestler and all of that. Just commercially, that cat Hulk Hogan was, man, bananas. Ric Flair in WCW was on TBS.
Okay.
Vince McMahon brought Hulk Hogan to like the networks, bro. Like Saturday Night's Main Event came on Saturday nights, like either right before Saturday Night Live or right after Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
You know, you got kids that are like 9, 10 staying up to like 11 o'clock on a Saturday, dude.
Yeah,
like,
watching it.
Yeah, it was just bigger. Had nothing to do with the Four Horsemen. And like in the wrestling world and wrestling fans, Ric Flair was just as big as Hulk Hogan, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But as far as the average, not the wrestling fan, just the average fan, Hulk Hogan was definitely legit. More commercial.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk Hogan is a great name. Hell, I mean, I remember watching him. It's just I didn't obviously not know wrestling history. I was like on the tail end of Hulk Hogan. Then in comes, you know, John Cena and all those guys. And so
yeah. So
no, but Triple X. I mean, you know, you got
Triple X,
Triple H,
this old crew that he ran with. Oh man.
The new generation, what they call New Generation X?
Generation X.
Ooh.
And then Jeff Jarrett and the way he used to come in on WWE. Yo, wrestling is one of the greatest business models and pastimes ever, bro.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
Storylines, all of it.
I've grown out of it.
You
You know
think
what I'm
you've
saying?
grown out of it, you just don't watch
Yeah,
it as much.
I grew out of it because some of the storylines as I got older, I was just like, all right, you know. So I kind of bowed out gracefully, but my younger brother is still a diehard.
Okay.
At in his 40s, and dude, Impact Wrestling, it doesn't matter.
It
If it's
don't
on
matter.
TV and it's wrestling, he's watching. But my point is, if commercially, you know, Hulk Hogan was the one that took wrestling to the next level, like Michael Jordan did the NBA. But they give credit to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson setting the table for Michael Jordan to be able to do that. This was, in my opinion, the WCCW, NWA, Von Erichs, Bockwinkel, like they set the table for WWF to be able to do so. They really did. So this is why this movie is absolutely humongous, because one of the greatest families in that era is being celebrated, bro. So that
So
is
that's where the significance lies.
yes, that's definitely where the significance lies. And there are so many characters that we can give credit to. Like you can honestly say, and this is true, Hulk Hogan never got put over until he beat Andre the Giant.
Right.
Beating Andre at WrestleMania put Hulk Hogan over. That's really what made Hulk Hogan the superstar that he became. So, you know, there's always, because at that time, Andre was really the biggest star.
Yeah.
Or one of the biggest stars. So, yeah, man. Hey, it's still going today. Wrestling is that business model, bro. It's
Undefeated. No, I believe it. I think you know, just the uniqueness of it and the storylines that they keep creating. You know, you know it's not real, but you don't want to believe it. And I think if you can get a fan to do that, I mean, you got them for lifetime. I mean, WrestleManias used to be legit events for me. I used to have to all my friends and I get together WrestleMania. Who got the pay per view? Who buying the game or the match? And we'll link up over there. And it was like great. I mean, it's to the Hell in the Cell, or when all they fighting for the briefcase, the Royal Rumble. I mean, man, great stuff.
It is. It's because the greatness of it. It's almost like a Notre Dame football team every year.
Yes.
You know, seniors graduate, people transfer. The makeup of the locker room is different, and like forming, like the atmosphere of wrestling is the same, man. We see different storylines. I hated Bret Hart when he first came up with the Hart Foundation.
Really?
As a tag team. I hated Bret Hart. But when he went solo, man.
That was his thing.
Bret Hart was my dude.
Well, you know, former Notre Dame lineman Parker Boudreaux is a serious wrestler now.
Yes.
He's like on the main show.
On the main show, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how it relates to him being with all the celebrities, but he's killing it. He's killing it.
So, to relate this back to what we were talking about so we can get out of here, man, it's all about content. What can you give? What can you give? You know, and Pete Bavacqua gives Notre Dame an inside track as a NBC Sports executive. He knows what needs to be shown to NBC. Because now NBC tried to be slick.
They tried to put one of their people at the top to kind of run things.
Oh, you know, that's why they went and got that Big Ten package, right? Right? So they tried to come to the table like, well, we already have content, college football content. Yeah, but you don't have Notre Dame.
You don't.
You don't have Notre Dame.
We've been holding your sports package down as a solo act.
Facts.
Now, who is doing that?
Facts. And
Not the Big Ten, not the Big
stop
Ten
treating
network.
us like a stepchild, connecting us to the promos of the Big Ten games. Stop that crap.
That's right.
We are Notre Dame.
Don't hype Nebraska, Minnesota on a Notre Dame game.
And then throw Notre Dame at the end.
No.
Get that crap out of here, dude. No, we're not a throw in on your promos.
No.
I'm sorry, man. Do better.
Do better.
For Notre Dame, which they've changed the like the access in games, the production, like the last drive, the connection between the coaches added to the video versus Duke. The access video they put out, the USC game was phenomenal. So the production has gotten better. Things have gotten better. Notre Dame understands what the assignment is. I see it. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to put forth, not just for football. I want to see it with the women's basketball team, the men's basketball team, lacrosse, soccer, fencing, hockey, everything. Do it all. Go big. But let it be known, the reason I brought up what was happening to HBO and Showtime is because it relates to NBC and how they're going to try to play these negotiations. We already know. We see the change. We see the shift. People don't really watch TV. People don't really watch TV shows. Right? Oh, there's another show I watched. This show called Botched. You ever seen it?
I haven't seen it.
The two plastic surgeons out in Beverly Hills. It's some pretty interesting stuff, bro. Like
you gotta watch. That's like watching Below Deck on Peacock.
I've watched a couple of episodes.
It's not bad.
I've watched a couple of episodes.
It's stupid, but it's not.
You just don't. You don't defecate where you work, bro.
That's
you just
right.
Don't. That's
what that's about.
That's show. I know that's not the same. I know the same, but no. There's an assignment for Notre Dame, and Pete Bavacqua, being in the space that he's going to be in as the athletic director, should be able to help Notre Dame navigate, what is now a streaming world. This is no longer.
I'm surprised Notre Dame got enough money. They don't do their own like how Texas did, do a Notre Dame network.
I do. I've been waiting for Notre Dame to do their own network.
They got putting out more ideas for them to just grab from them. Under Armour already stole one of them.
Notre Dame.
NBC do next?
Yes. Notre Dame, you have the money.
Oh yeah. Well, we like the money to not need nobody else. That's the funny part. Like we don't, Yeah. I think one of the things that'd be cool if they had like a series of shows, like Marcus Freeman had his own show, like All Access. Or like one of the things I saw that was really cool was they was interviewing in a game Antoine Winfield during the game. Like they're asking him questions in the midst of the play. And he's like, hold on, I got to make this play. And it makes a tackle. And then it goes back to asking him questions. That was cool.
Major League Baseball does that as well.
That's exactly
during the game.
That
would be interesting. You know what else would be dope? Ohio State. Now you would have to copy Ohio State, but Ohio State actually has a recruit show.
A recruit? That's smart. Damn.
Yeah.
That's smart.
See, this is you want to understand the stuff that catches the eye of recruits.
Yeah, that's smart. That's cool.
The weekend that Justin Scott went to Ohio State,
he got an interview on the show.
He was on the show with two other recruits.
Yucking it up.
And I think I think it's a local show, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You on TV or whatever.
It's the feeling that it gives the recruits.
But that's on your schedule. Oh, you gotta appear like Good Morning Buckeyes.
Yeah, when you visit the campus, like, yo, we got you. And actually, he was on there with the show. He was on there with, it was a linebacker in the class.
Oh, the linebacker that does all the TV stuff for them now.
No, the linebacker, he was going to commit to Notre Dame, and then when Laurinaitis took the position at Ohio State, he switched over to Ohio State.
His name?
Yeah. Justin Scott did a visit the same weekend as him. They were both on the show. But stuff like that stands out, man.
Yeah.
It
Marcus
stands
Freeman
out.
just can't win it all by himself. He got to get some. Well, Pete Bavacqua being an NBC, he should know what media things attract or can help the recruitment of football and all our other sports as well. It's no excuse for us to have the money and damn near the resources to make it happen.
Thank you, Ryan Loftus. Peyton Pierce.
Not
It
to
was
be
Peyton
leading.
Pierce and Justin Scott.
Oh, exactly. Not to be
That
leading
show.
though, in terms of just this nuance, multifaceted media space or recruitment space. I think they should do another seasons with. I thought that had a lot of fans remember me specifically
Yeah.
just from the season with, and they just follow us like a Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I think this is a good team, especially at Notre Dame, to do it with.
They did something like that because that was literally the season you got injured.
Right.
And they followed you coaching the women's flag league at Notre Dame.
That's right. And I think that along and mixed well with the personalities that we have on the team, I think it would be attractive for people to want to watch on a daily basis. Then you put a Marcus Freeman All Access or something, and then take little clips and stuff. I mean, there's definitely enough content. I think Notre Dame media is getting better. They were a little old before in the way they put out content. They've been doing some nuance. They got a mirror in there. He's bringing some freshness to it. I just think Notre Dame can do a lot more. That can be maybe they don't see it as beneficial yet because they are very traditional in the way of thinking, but streaming and Notre Dame with the reach and alumni we have around the world, it's only the logical next step. If I'm Pete Prabakwa, being an NBC old head, to go in there and make those changes, because that's the best of both worlds. You put media head with Notre Dame and the brand that it has, and all the money in between. Come on, we can make it happen.
But see, this is the same thing with Shannon Sharp. This is the thing. Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, dude, they can go straight to consumer.
Yeah.
They don't need Showtime right now.
No.
We
would be helping Showtime.
They built up content and followers. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, they don't need Showtime. They can go straight to consumer on YouTube right now.
Straight to them.
Straight to consumer.
Now they may not be getting paid as much.
Dude, but you go find sponsorships.
But
all that money, there are no splits now.
Right.
You're not sharing money with Showtime now. This is all you. And they have enough money to pay really good production companies to be able to film and all of that. They have that.
Like, what is the Pivot doing? Is the Pivot their own, or they swallowed up like ESPN or something like that?
No, the Pivot has to chill because listen, Ryan Clark is doing
ESPN
Inside the NFL. NFL Live every day.
First
Monday Night Football. Get Up, First Take. They have to take a chill pill until the off season. They have to relax, man.
I mean, he's interviewing people in sports now, not even football related. He
has the radio show with Cormier, the podcast.
Damn. Yeah, him, and then RG3 is on the same. I mean, they got these brothers running Rough Shot.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see Tony Romo do a little bit more, man. That man just pop up on Sunday and go home, man.
I want to see Notre Dame players continue what Kyle Hamilton started. Like,
why did that drop off?
Notre Dame players should have a podcast. Heck yeah, Notre Dame players should have a podcast.
Yeah, they should have. That should just be. But then it goes to who's running. Is it Notre Dame running it, or is it the player led thing? I think it probably went away once Kyle went away, but somebody should be picking up the torch.
The fact that Kyle Hamilton was on it, he had the name and the gravitas too, because I think their deal was with Colin Cowherd's podcast network.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was with Volume, if I'm not mistaken.
Got it. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
I can tell you right now, Christian Gray would be great.
Oh, he's a good podcast.
This dude is a clown. As a freshman, he's a clown. Like, you can talk to players he came in the locker room as a freshman, like, yo, what's up? Clown.
That's great.
As a freshman.
That's what Ohio do to you, man.
First of all, he's from St. Louis.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the Ohio guy coming in. Damn, that's what I'm thinking of. Damn. Oh, by the way.
You get that from St. Louis and Chicago.
Oh, okay. Why you throw Chicago in there?
You get that type of boldness from St. Louis and Chicago.
What? First of all, St. Louis and Chicago is not connected to be lumping them in with each other.
Yo, who would you? That's the question of the day. Notre Dame fans, who would you like? Give me 3 players that you would like to hear from every week on a Notre Dame podcast.
Current players?
Yeah.
Current players.
Cam Hart would be one. Because remember, Cam Hart was on the podcast with.
Yeah, but I wouldn't choose Cam Hart.
Yeah, because Cam was the trash talker. Cam was the one that said he doesn't respect USC. He was the one that said he doesn't respect USC.
He did say that.
That's what he said. He said it last year, like, man, I don't even respect USC.
That's right. That's right. Cam would be good. Man, you said Christian Gray would be on there. Maybe a Devin Houston, because Devin Houston can dance, and he's, the team likes him a lot. Maybe Devin Houston, he hasn't played yet for fans to really see him, but
that's a good call.
People like Devin Houston on the team.
That's a good call.
For sure.
A good call.
You gotta have a quarterback in there, but not the starting quarterback. Like, put Minchie on there, put Angeli on there, because they'll tell more.
Okay. Okay.
The backup quarterback will tell a little bit more.
Okay.
Other than that, like, for instance, I think the Travis Hunter podcast is pretty cool, just because it's Travis Hunter. I think that's where Kyle kind of started that, in my opinion.
It's a rough week for him to podcast, though.
Who, Kyle?
Or Travis Hunter. Yeah.
I hope he don't take fan questions.
Yeah, the comments this week for Travis Hunter, boy. Hey.
You gotta turn them comments off, man.
Like, hey, you might want to just play offense.
But that's because Dion boosted it up. Talk about, we're gonna put a hot tub on the plane. Oh man, he done set Travis up for some stuff that, we won't see a performance like that from that Stanford receiver all year.
But look, Trav has had fantastic. Trav had defensive plays against USC. He had defensive plays against TCU. That interception against TCU was phenomenal. Like,
when they put his highlight tape on during draft, it's gonna look great. We're not gonna remember the length of the games that he was playing in. We'll remember all the highlights when they replay it on NFL Day 1 draft, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to help him out, though, for him to be position specific, because even in the league, you're a talent, but hell, you got guys like Stephon Gilmore that just plays corner.
Right.
So that's where we talking about you. You can't be an average corner, average receiver. We just won't last in the league that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do think it's an interesting perspective, especially it affects us at Notre Dame too. A bunch of two-way position players. Probably the problem with our receiver room. They all play 2 positions in an instrument.
You said 2.
You're just too talented, 2 position in the instrument, you feed the birds and, you do all this humanitarian work. You got a lot going on if you're in the receiver room. But I tell you what, Charlie Jones just took 1 class, underwater basket weaving, and was living at the facility. That's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Try to get O on here. Who is O?
Q. Try to get Q.
Q?
Q probably not a great podcaster, man.
You would know. You would know.
Q keeps it short, man. Keeps it short and cute, man.
He plays like that too. He's real short and to the point. Like, hey.
Yeah, Q no jokes.
Man, look.
I like Chris Tyree. Chris Tyree actually wants to get into media space after his career, so I think he'll be good.
I would love to have Chris Tyree.
Can we do players that are playing now on the podcast?
Usually in the off season. I'll reach out.
Because, hell, they were doing it. If we called Chris Tyree, it was like, yo, just hop on the pod during bye week or something.
Yeah.
Or get Cam Hart on. I'm sure Cam would give us a good 5 minutes. Because he a
Cam would be
senior.
great.
Cam
Cam
don't
would be
got no
dope.
Cam don't got no classes. You know, he already graduated. So, you know, he chilling most of the
See, it
time.
would be someone like that.
Right.
Someone graduate, no classes, veteran. Notre Dame wouldn't have to tell them, don't say this, don't say that.
Once we
Yeah.
get that, big Verizon sponsorship or that AT&T sponsorship, we'll have to try to sign like Sam Hartman on to come on every Monday, talk about his terrible decision making or something. But like, Sam, what were you thinking on that last drive?
Bro, I don't know why. Well, I know why, because I had hope, Notre Dame fans. I had hope that at some point, my co-host and my brother would text me last night saying, yo, let's go. I'm settled.
I'm on the damn. Yeah, you're right.
And I'm looking at my phone, and all of a sudden, I'm getting these notifications on my phone. And I'm on X or Twitter, and people are hitting me up talking about Drake May and Caleb Williams with nonsense.
What's saying that Drake is like so much better than Caleb?
Like I tweeted out to one of my Chicago dudes that does a podcast, my boy Big Davis. He does the Under the Center podcast for the Bears on NBC Sports. And he put out a clip where he was like, no, man, I don't want any North Carolina quarterbacks. And I'm like, dude, relax. Like Drake May is not
Drake May is good.
He is not Mitch Trubisky. Like, relax.
No, he's not.
Right? And so people, Notre Dame fans are like, are you sure? Right? And it's one Notre Dame. And I'm like, there's absolutely nothing about Drake May's career at North Carolina that is similar to Mitch Trubisky's career. Nothing.
They don't even play alike.
Dude, like Mitch Trubisky sat for 3 years.
Mitch Trubisky wouldn't play now if it was between him and Drake May on the team.
And like the draft experts created the Mitch Trubisky buzz.
Just like Will Levis.
They lost to like Stanford in the Sun Bowl. Dude.
And got whooped by Georgia. Remember that was the game they said he was going.
Dude, like all that Mitch Trubisky stuff was draft experts, which I really don't lend my ear to draft.
That's why they got fired from the NFL draft.
There's one Notre Dame fan was like, well, just like Caleb Williams, Drake May didn't impress me when he played Notre Dame. I said, unfortunately, Notre Dame is not the litmus test for all quarterbacks.
No.
And I said, oh, by the way, Drake May threw for 305 touchdowns against Notre Dame with no interceptions.
And hell,
so I don't know how you were unimpressed, but
he had Caleb Downs too at that time.
I said, now, if you want to, say I wasn't impressed with Caleb Williams after watching him Saturday, cool. I'll point you back to the Coliseum last year and ask you
where he beat us for the Heisman.
Yes.
So we may not be the litmus test for quarterbacks, but we the litmus test for winning that Heisman. Because C.J. Stroud made New York because of us. Because he lost to Michigan. So if it was based on that, if it was based on Michigan alone, he wouldn't have been in New York. He got there because he beat us week 1. So, Notre Dame holds weight in every aspect.
That's all we're saying. It was just, I'm sitting up waiting for my co-host so we can give you guys a primetime show. And I'm getting notification after notification of Notre Dame fans hating on Drake May and Caleb Williams. And I'm like,
he want part ownership of a team. Damn, do you work that into a contract?
Hey, and actually, I see what Cajun Irish said. I don't believe he lost the Heisman. If Caleb,
like Michael Penix now.
no.
Until they play
If Caleb Williams runs this table, if he
Oregon,
beats
Utah, Washington,
Oregon, Utah,
Oregon State.
Yes, if he runs the table, we just watched, and we know what he has left. He ain't got that much.
He ain't got that much.
He ain't got that much help. But if he runs this Pac-12 table, you better believe. You better believe he's winning the Heisman.
Because all of these are tough games,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, all of them are tough games.
Absolutely. If he beats Washington and outplays Penny.
And they'll make the playoffs.
Yes.
If he wins 4 games. Because
they will win the conference championship. Absolutely.
They'll make the playoffs for sure. So the Notre Dame game, they can look at our game as like, okay, it's a bump in the road. Because they still got so many games that can change the season. They're like, all right, we lost Notre Dame. Y'all got that off. We'll have more success finishing stronger than y'all will, meaning us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Ain't nothing we can do. We can just beat these couple teams left, and then the cards fall where they may. But USC is still in control of their destiny and winning that Heisman for Caleb.
Yeah. It's like, look, he definitely damaged his opportunity to win a second Heisman.
He damaged it from winning it outright.
Like if he beat Notre Dame Saturday,
he's winning that shit. Yeah.
He more than likely.
And then mess around and beat Washington and then just play well against Oregon. Yeah,
Yeah. And like everybody said, if Sam Hartman would have been in New York if he had beaten Ohio State, if he had beaten Louisville.
Yes. Hell, if he beat Duke better. We might have some numbers still falling in, but it just showed you just how high stakes it is to win the Heisman at this point this year. But we knew Sam would kind of, shake to the bottom of the glass when it's all said and done. But it is good to see us have some buzz around the position for Heisman, because that can attract a Deuce Knight, a CJ Carr, the Kenny Minchies of the world. So I hope all those guys are taking notes as to just how big you can blow up in 1 year if you're looking at Sam Hartman's trajectory of a career trajectory at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Every game Sam's played has been more important than anything he's done at Wake Forest. Nobody in college football has paid this much attention to Sam Hartman outside of these 6 games that he's played for Notre Dame. So if you can just be that dude in a quarterback position at Notre Dame, you write your own ticket, your own check. You and Jack Swarbrick would be sitting in the same meetings together.
Yeah.
Dictating how college football rolls on, because that's just how great that position can do for you, and even after football.
Like, Shaun Stewart, man, that's a great point. That the blueprint is out, and it's not Notre Dame didn't invent the blueprint.
No.
Utah did the same thing.
Oregon State did the same thing.
In the Pac-12. Oregon State did the same thing last year when they beat them.
Utah did it twice. For the championship game and regular.
But they gave up points. Look, the blueprint has been out there. Right? But you have to have the defensive backs. I agree.
That's it, yeah.
Ohio
State can get in some trouble. It would be nice to see Ohio State.
You have to have the defensive backs. I don't know if Utah. I know Utah in the front 7 is going. Man, because they got after Dante Moore, they're definitely going to get after.
UCLA's line's better.
I just don't know.
USC got to still play UCLA and Dante.
That's true.
Dang.
I just don't know if they have the corners. Oregon, I don't know. I know they lost 2 corners to injury against Washington. So
Oregon's
I don't know.
Coaching is going to lose them games. Just like it did against Washington. Just stupid coaching.
The arrogance? You mean the arrogance?
It's stupid.
See, that arrogance comes back to bite you. It was all fun when they were smacking Colorado. See, that arrogance was all cool. Like, everybody was like, ha, look at Colorado. Yep. You had to eat that humble pie against Washington.
That's right.
And the truth of the matter is, USC has a fighting chance against Washington and Oregon because it's not like either one of their defenses shut down the potent offense that they face.
That's right. At all.
So USC has a fighting chance because they have a formula. If USC jumps out in front, they play much better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, I just don't think, bro, USC has a better shot defensively against Oregon than they do Washington. Washington has they got too many
It's a
receivers.
better shot than Oregon than that one. Yes.
They had a better shot defensively against Oregon than they do Washington.
Yeah.
They just do.
They just do.
Right? Because I'm not trying to be disrespectful to both.
Washington's just a better team all around. I just think it would just take a lot more to beat a Washington team, the more confidence they're gaining. Oregon is just like, Oregon would be compared to like.
If you watch Oregon play, Oregon is a very gimmicky offense.
Yes. That if you let them get away, it's like the Warriors. If you just think you can outshoot them in threes, you're probably going to lose. But if you can take away their three or they just not hitting on their threes like they usually are, they just look like an average team. I mean, that's how big of a drastic difference. Washington can win in many different ways.
Yes.
And it's not like they're inconsistent with ebbs and flows. They're a good team. They run good plays. They play pretty solid defensively. And they just, I mean, you know.
And they run the ball.
And they run
the
football.
They don't just throw it. They run the football.
Yeah.
They ran the football against Oregon. People were like, man, Washington can't run. I'm like, they run when they want to.
When they want to.
They can literally come out and just, they have freshmen. Pope. Was it Pope? They didn't. No. McMillan didn't play.
McMillan, yeah.
The number 2 receiver. Okay, they brought 2 freshmen in that both combined for like 11 catches and like almost 200 yards. Like, dude. Like, their production, they can come out and literally just throw the ball and beat your butt.
And beat you.
And they knew against Oregon, we're gonna have to keep Oregon honest. So we're gonna have to run the ball. So
and Oregon beat themselves because they like, wait, we're not playing fast-paced football.
Oregon not only beat themselves, once again, arrogance. It's one thing to go for it, but it's one thing to have dumb play calls.
Yeah.
Go for it. Right? Which lets me know it's 4th down. Now I question whether or not you trust Bo Nix to read the entire field.
Yeah. If you're doing gimmicky stuff like that.
Every time on 4th down, you're rolling out, giving him half the field. You did it down by the end zone, and then that last 4th down before Washington got the ball back with 2 minutes left, you let him read half the field running to his left.
It's like a forced safe call. It's like, okay,
absolutely,
he can't mess it up by playing half the field, and it's safe because he can run if nothing else is there, and we can live with it. But that's not a schematic play in that situation either.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of those plays where you're like, all right, I'm not afraid to run this one. We'll call it a half roll. But if you're scheming and thinking like, okay, we need this at this point in the game, we need a specific call. Mm-hmm. Oregon's not built like that. I don't think Dan Lanning is built like that. But, that's the difference in what a Kirby Smart would do, like call a timeout against Ohio State that changed the entire game. There's elite coaching as well that plays into it. Hell, I don't even like talking about Michigan, but Michigan is playing very well on all cylinders right now.
I mean, they haven't played anybody. Penn State hasn't played anybody. But J.J. McCarthy does look better.
I didn't say J.J. I said look.
He's the quarterback. Their offense, their running game, their O-line is always pretty good. Look, give credit. I'm just pointing out the fact that your 4th down calls and your 2-point conversion calls are your best calls. Those are the plays where you're like, if we need something, this is what we're going to.
That's right. That's right. Your best calls were those short yardage calls.
So the calls you put forth on fourth down show me that you don't really trust Bo Nix to read the entire field.
No.
We have to give him half a field reads. That's 1-2. And as soon as that wide receiver slipped on the out on the last fourth down, the play was dead. It was a wrap. Right? So that's my caution. Like, Caleb Williams, Drake May, tier 1. Michael Penix, he got hurt last week. At the end of the game, he was holding his ribs. I worry about his size a little bit and injury concerns. Bo Nix, he's gotten better at Oregon.
He's the same as Sam Hartman for me.
But he throws safe passes. It's a gimmick offense. Like somebody said, the O-line at Oregon is better than Washington. Yeah, Washington has a better team. They just have a better all-around team.
Top to bottom. If Bo Nix doesn't play well, Oregon is getting blown out, not just losing. So you have to consider that. Everything is weighted, just like everything was weighted on Caleb, which I made a point of that last week. They only win by putting everything on Caleb. So if Caleb don't have 400 yards and 7 touchdowns and a bunch of Heisman moments, USC is getting blown out, not just losing. We don't have an X factor to where if they don't play well, we don't play well. It's more like we're a good team. So, if Sam doesn't have a great day, it's not going to affect the scoreboard in like other teams, even though Sam should have a huge impact on the scoreboard when he plays well. And so with us having a consistent running game and offensive line, we'll always be a good team that doesn't necessarily need the X factor to keep us in games. But USC needs them to keep them in games. Bo Nix and Oregon need to keep them in games. Shador at Colorado. If he don't throw for 500 yards a game, they get blown out.
I forget what's the name of the Troy Franklin is the wide receiver, right? At Oregon, the big time wide receiver. The running back's name. Oh man.
Number 8. He's nice. It's like Rusty or Rucky or.
He's from Chicago. That's why I'm ashamed right now that I don't know his name.
Really?
Yeah, the small running back,
number 8.
Yeah.
It's like Rusty Bucket or something. It's
Rusty Bucket.
A Rocco or is.
No, bro. They got 2 really good running backs.
Man, I gotta look up his name now. What is it? Because he was playing well.
Both of their running backs played well against Washington.
I'm telling you, it's Rocky or Ricky or Rusty, huh?
No. Bucky Irvin.
Bucky, damn. Okay, Rusty. Okay, yeah, I was one of them. Rusty.
Yeah. Bucky Irvin's from Chicago.
Bucky played all right. He makes guys miss, and he's good for their offense, but their whole scheme is gimmick. So I'm not. I think Justin Herbert translated well because he's physically the size of a quarterback that can, do some things.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Because a lot of people, as we get ready to close, it's hard to judge quarterbacks, right? Like, we don't believe that Notre Dame has gotten the juice from Sam Hartman that they expected or they should. People will talk about the receivers, the O-line, and dude, Sam Hartman hasn't played his best.
Yeah, like he
hasn't.
He hasn't had no 400-yard games yet, or no 5+ touchdown yet. Like he's had.
And I understand the receivers,
but still, it's college football. It ain't the NFL where we need top-notch receivers. This is college football. These corners out here aren't half as talented as the talent we have in that receiver room. There's a disconnect from either the quarterback not activating them enough.
Yeah.
Or the plays, the coaches not believing in the plays to keep consistently calling dropbacks for. If anybody on the roster, Sam can do the dropbacks more than anybody.
We did point out that Sam Hartman's play action is he can
a lot more to be desired.
Yeah, he can. I will. Bo Nix play action. You can tell his father has what Bo Nix's play action.
That's what I'm saying. If you can get over
Yeah,
the gimmicks and have the talent to match their athletes, Oregon is just another team. They just have they have their system down pat, and they recruit to their system really well as also.
yeah.
So I think it's one of those things where it's a style fight, USC
Hmm.
versus Oregon, because they're two gimmicky type offenses.
Yeah.
Terrible defense. This might be a first 80 point, 80, 86, 85 game ever.
So, at what point does Justin Herbert start to get blamed? Because it's not just
I've been blaming him since going into the
look.
draft. So I want to put my disclaimer out. I was
Okay.
never a fan of Justin Herbert going into the draft because I felt like him mentally wouldn't be able to sustain a locker room all season to 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 garner behind him. I
Hmm.
just think he has the personality of just another guy on the team. He's good at what he does, but from a leadership standpoint, he doesn't have enough to, in my opinion, and I said this before he got drafted, to keep the team motivated all season. He's a good player. He can make some throws and all that, but he doesn't have that quarterback trait to galvanize the guys in adverse moments or you look at their record right now, just his record in general with the Chargers, a bunch of close games lost where he's played well.
The Chargers. They
The Chargers
every,
charging.
every
I think he
game.
has talent, but if you take like also you gotta think he's had some really good receivers around him his whole career
Oh,
as well.
receivers and tight end.
And running backs.
And Austin Eckler at running back.
So yeah, I blamed him because of the moments that they lose these close games. I feel like he's talented enough to win it. He just doesn't have the mentality to get it done. He doesn't have the Joe Burrow icy in his veins type of thing. I think if everything goes well, it's a nice day outside with a cool breeze and everybody's healthy. Justin Herbert looks amazing.
I just
But it
realized
but in
that
these tight games, I'm not taking Justin Herbert. I'm not.
I just think that we talked about difference makers. That's the next step for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Sam Hartman becoming a difference maker. They should be able to figure something out with this passing game and this bye week.
I mean, damn, it's about too late. We on week 8.
Hey, we still got games. They should be putting up 30, 40 the rest of this schedule.
Oh yeah. There's no excuse now. It's a 35 plus matchup every time moving forward because there's no excuse now. You already let the cat out the bag. Just when we thought we was going one direction, you show us something like that, it can't go any less than that. And that's where Sam Hartman has to show his veteran leadership, his 12,000 yards passing on his resume. He's got to be able to show his ability to come in the clutch because we still got formidable games. I think Stanford is always going to give us some trouble. Anytime we go out to California, those games just seem a little harder. Like they play with 12 men on the field and we only play with 11. It's like they definitely, man, I don't know. But Stanford, I feel like, will be a good way to end the season if we can do it the right way because they're getting better, obviously. They're not going to be in the running for anything, but they can be season ruiners as well if we let them.
Yeah, if we let
If we
them.
let them. Now,
If we let them.
after the USC game, I think that was when the switch was turned on for us that we need to play like this every week.
Yeah.
So that's the level of expectation. So even like a guy we had on today said, it's not
Big
about
Shane Walton.
what Shane Walton said. It's not about winning or losing. It's how we win or lose.
Yeah.
And if we want any chance of being in contention for a playoff spot, because I think a lot of the top 10 teams in the playoffs, I mean the top 10 teams right now have to play each other or they have other big games that they have to win, right? I believe so.
Dude, it's basically a
Ohio State
round.
Michigan got to play.
It's a three-team race. They play each other in the Big Ten. It's a Pac-12 round robin with everybody playing.
Yeah, anybody can go in there.
And then
Georgia,
the
Michigan,
ACC, Duke and Florida State play this weekend. Duke and North Carolina play, I think, the week after that.
Yeah.
And then Florida State and North Carolina play later in the season. So, and then LSU, Alabama.
LSU just lost, didn't they?
Not again. They lost 2 games already.
Okay, yeah.
They lost 2. They play Alabama, and I think they have another game. Alabama plays Tennessee this week. Georgia, no Brock Bowers, so we'll see.
Damn, yeah.
You know,
Arthur Beck got to pull some magic out of that.
They played Missouri and Florida, which Georgia is talented enough to beat both teams without Brock Bowers. But a fourth quarter game without 19, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
That safety blanket. And and damn, losing to Louisville just really throws us off because the Ohio State loss, okay, understandable, whatever. You beat Louisville and you're undefeated up to this point. You win against USC. You're sitting pretty good. We're sitting somewhere outside the top 10, very close to 10, in my opinion. Us not losing to Louisville in great position to just fall right into the playoffs, considering all these people got to play each other and
Well, Vegas views Notre Dame pretty good. Still, they had them as almost a touchdown favorite on the road against Duke, a 6.5, 6-point favorite on the road against Louisville, 5-2, and a 3-point favorite at home against an undefeated USC. So people view this Notre Dame team as a good team.
Yeah.
They look at them a little bit differently. And I think the way they stayed they have them in the polls pretty good, in my opinion. So the Louisville loss is definitely one that's going to burn.
Yeah.
Right? Because even though it would have been a long shot, we'll see. Lucky Lefty podcast. Fantastic show today, Left. Fantastic show. Thank you to Shane Walton. He gave us a full hour, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
some really good stuff. If you joined, he was at the top of the show. If you joined the show late, make sure you go back and watch the entire interview. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing. Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you. You don't? No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, pettiest story of the day, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. I say this with Notre Dame pride. Put Desmond Howard on the petty train.
Oh, man.
I knew he was a goofy, and I hate saying it because I know he's from Ohio. I know he's in Ohio.
Goofy's a goofy.
He's a goofy. And I knew this before this weekend. Game day was out in Washington. And he did a little film breakdown of Michael Penix going into the game on game day. And as he introed the film breakdown, he said in order for Washington to win this game today, Michael Penix is going to have to bring that big Penix energy.
Get him off TV, man. Get him off TV, man.
You are the corniest lame I've ever seen in my life, bro. First of all, you a grown man.
Yeah, you grown. What are you talking
Why
about?
are you referencing big penis energy? Why? Why? How? Who does that?
These sassy commentators, man. I tell you what.
Really?
You a grown man.
You a grown man. You sitting up here quoting Lotto songs?
Because the only logical question next is, what were you really trying to say? you gotta, because somebody's gonna be like, what was the reference? What I see where you was going, but what was the original reference to
Now,
what you said? Crazy man.
Is his name, is the correct pronunciation Michael Penix?
It's Penix.
So now you forced it by changing the E sound. You that makes it worse.
Because you're forcing one-liners that are outrageous for a grown
hey, bro,
man.
like quarterbacks say, it wasn't there. The throw wasn't there.
And guess what? I guarantee you nobody told him to say that.
I guarantee you.
nobody said that's a good
bro,
one.
You know me. I said, wait a minute. Some producer had to tell this dude, like,
hey, we not doing that no more.
That ain't it.
Hey, cut it out.
And my wife, I let her watch it, and my wife said he did that on his own.
He did that on his own. No, yeah.
She said nobody knew he was going that direction.
Because that's what people gonna say. What were you really trying to say, Desmond Howard? It's a play on words. So what were you playing on? Crazy man. That's that Michigan stuff. If I'm Michael Penix, I'm tweeting, I'm mad about that comment. Desmond Howard, don't talk about me like that, bro, on TV. You a grown man.
And he said it with enthusiasm.
Yeah. He's just as bad as Robert Griffin.
Man.
The terrible take, Robert Griffin. They, like, what are you talking about?
Really, my dude?
It's already bad enough they kicking off all the dudes off of ESPN anyway. And you saying crazy stuff like that, Desmond Howard, you're not helping us.
Man, can we get a replacement? Please. Now,
you mentioning how he forced the different version of his name is just the wild part. It's like you really tried it. You really thought you was saying something.
Yes.
Yeah, big pause, man.
The girlfriend, I don't know if you've seen this, Kevin Porter Jr., NBA player, was arrested on September 11th.
Oh, yeah, another petty
for assault.
She talking about he didn't hit me.
Now, a month later, his ex-girlfriend is saying that he didn't touch me. It's kind of too late.
It's too late. First of all,
he's already been traded, and he's all cut and released by the Oklahoma City Thunder
within a 2-minute span.
Now, I have no idea what really happened. None.
It don't even matter now.
I called him a goofy when the report came out. Now she's a goofy.
Yeah, because what are you talking about?
They're both goofies.
Yeah.
Even if you're covering up for him, you're a goofy.
You're a goofy.
If you're trying to save his career,
that's goofy.
Why wait so long? You knew what this was going to do to his career when you made the allegations.
When you made the call, you was probably talking stuff to him as you were making the call. Oh yeah, this is gonna be it right here.
Right.
This is your career right here.
Facts.
You call these people right here.
Facts.
We know you said it. Because why else would you call? Knowing the situation. That's what makes it so crazy. You know what it was. It's like, yeah, you angry and all that. You do things, you get angry. But like there's logic in there too, man. And you intentionally
and you knew training camp was right around the corner.
Yeah.
You knew it.
you probably was only going to see him for that last weekend before he went to training camp.
Yes. And neither one of us support domestic violence in no
Apparently,
way,
it never
form, or
happened.
fashion.
Apparently, it never happened. We only speak
But-
on what the ladies say.
Come on, man. You know, I don't like when you play with the lives and careers of individuals. I just don't. You know, we just went through that crazy situation with somebody you played against. I think you and Trav Rudolph were in the same recruiting class, right?
Rudolph. And it's even sicker that this girl didn't apologize. She like, you know, it's whatever.
She tried to murder. She tried to literally get her people to murder this dude.
Yeah. And then blamed him.
And blamed him when he tried to protect himself.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. I don't care, male, female. Y'all out there in these relationships, be careful, man.
Yeah. Don't ruin your whole.
Be careful. Be careful. And watch how you handle yourself. Men, hey, keep these hands
In your pockets.
in your pockets. You know, if your tongue game, pause.
See, you ain't on no Desmond
Pause.
over here. You're not on no
Right.
Desmond.
Let me pause. You know, if your argument game
Ain't there?
ain't there,
Just walk away,
just
bro.
walk away. If you don't
Can't
have
get
no,
arrested for walking.
yeah, if you don't have any stingers, because look, let me tell you, dude, bro, I'm pretty. My argument game is pretty
solid.
It's pretty solid, Left.
Yeah, you can do some things.
You know, but my background hurts me in arguments.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is from the 12 Deuce.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
She grew up, you know, she ran with folks now
Yeah.
when she was like 13, 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Single parent household, you know what I'm saying? Mother had them with rough exterior, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Her argument game, she has like another level. Her
Yes.
expletive game is a whole lot
Got
of
masters in it.
Yeah, because I'm, you know, I've just never really.
You good playing a little pickup in the mirror, but she professional with it.
Yeah, I've never really cursed a lot, Left. So I don't put them together real good.
Yeah. Oh,
She can line them bad boys up, bro.
Okay, I got you. You're not flowing.
No,
with the expert.
no. So it's like my ceiling. I got a high floor, but I got a low ceiling.
Right. So you quit. You fast start, but you run out after the first 10 minutes.
Because I know when she flips the switch.
Yeah. So you try to beat her to the punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there.
See, my best game is silence. Like when I give her the silent treatment, it really gets to her. It hits her. But in that argument game, when she goes to that next level, bro, she has she has a doctorate, bro. She has a doctorate.
Yeah, no,
and it's like
the argument game that strong. You just kind of
I try to be real. You know, I try to get it over with.
Yeah, what do I got to do?
I'm not going in there trying to box. You know, I'm trying to knock you out in the first round.
And then if I can't do it, shit, okay, I quit, bro.
I'm bowing out.
I'm sorry.
I'm bowing out.
You was right, bro. I was tripping, bro. I concede. It's not even that big of a deal. I wasn't thinking of what your perspective was at first.
Yeah.
But
see, we're both intellectuals, college graduates, so we start out that way.
How we think it's supposed to go.
Right. The argument starts out along those lines.
Because you're like, okay, we can talk about this.
Point, counterpoint,
point, respond, question,
rebuttal,
respond, question, respond.
Yes. And see, I'm one of those individuals that listens to every word you say.
Exactly.
And she doesn't like that. So when I start,
now you're like, well, This is what you telling me.
Now you putting words in my mouth, all that stuff. That's not what I meant. Stop
And
doing
that's
that.
when you lose. That's when you lose. That's
When
when
she,
you lose.
when
Right there.
yeah, when she knows when I get to that point, she's like, all right, I gotta switch this because
Because if I stay down this road, I'm gonna lose.
that's his advantage. Yeah. And she switches it up.
And that's why I my second half adjustments are terrible. That's where I end up losing the game. I'll be up 21 and get blown out when the adjustments are made. It just turns into a bad game for me. So, too bad these games are 4 quarters and not 2. Because if it was just a half, I'd be straight.
I'll be straight. I'll be
Probably
undefeated.
be Tom Brady with a half.
Undefeated. That dude, the GOAT. Lucky Lefty Pod. Thank you, everybody, for locking in today, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Call a great game tonight, Left. I'll be watching CBS Sports. Sam Houston State against
FIU, Florida International.
Against Florida International. You got your boy Malik ZAIRE on the call. For Left, Shane Walton, Shaun Davis, have a great day. Make sure you spin it different.